decade, the thunderous roar of engines has echoed through the walls of Mount Smart Stadium. Now, Go Media Mount Smart, a battleground of legends, a crucible of speed, where triumph and defeat dance under the floodlights. In 2002, just 5 kilometres down the road, a group of passionate drifters came together with a dream. They forged what would become D1NZ, the heartbeat of New Zealand's drifting scene. It all began in those humble moments, igniting a movement that would captivate a nation of motorsport fans. The first champion emerged, driving a machine that would become the stuff of legends. A new era had dawned. Over the years, countless drivers and chassis have graced this iconic venue. Name any historic New Zealand drifter, they've carved their legacy right here. The sport keeps evolving, faster and more exhilarating. Now, the fastest growing motorsport spectacle in the world, filling stadiums. The rebels of motorsport, if you will. 10 audacious drift cars through Auckland's motorways and Queen Street, a feat never to be repeated, celebrating the life of passionate young fans, culminating in a police-escorted media spectacle at Mount Smart. Ah, the old days. It's a stadium that's hosted the world's biggest concerts, epic sporting battles, and you can just feel the relentless spirit of the Waz. And it's seen moments that define history. With glory often comes heartache. The monumental moment when Gaz Whiter sees the first ever podium for the stadium in his infamous SR-powered S14. Glowing victory skids that evening provided entertainment. Then to come the following years at the same venue, his 4th title, etching his name into the annals of New Zealand and global drifting history as one of the greats. And the global sensation, Mad Mike Woodette. A driver whose pursuit of the Drift King crown pushed the boundaries of what's possible. Though his journey took him to international heights, the echoes of his impact at D1NZ linger in that formidable year, with fans holding their breath for the day he might return. The glory of the greats, heroes like Rude, Woolhouse, Whittaker taking his own top step in 2011 in the green-eyed Rattler V8 34, Kelly, Reed and his one-wheeling finish, Pullenbury and so many more. Yet few stand as tall as Whiter, his legacy now matched by only one other, Fangadan.
Ah, Fangadan, the maestro behind the wheel of the Holden VZ and VY, and later, that formidable Mustang.
A titan of the track, his battles at Mount Smart are the stuff of legend.
Really sparse through the centre section, pushing out really wide. Kurt just needed a tuck up on the inside.
Go Media Mount Smart Stadium bites. Its unique blend of night drifting, pyrotechnics and high-speed proximity challenges even the bravest. Spectacular moments like Drew Donovan's breathtaking Milwaukee S15 360 spin in 2014 against Stephen Soul. Only moments later to witness Phil Sutherland's jaw-dropping kick-flip barrel roll. Moments that leave the crowd in awe. And believe us, it won't be the last. Templeman, a legend in New Zealand motorsport through his own accolades. A 96 P1 and a top step in a 1,000 horsepower 2J monster. We can't forget the Australians. Coote, Lana, Jones, Fink, all have laid claim to take the stadium, with several locked in for 25. Could we see the crown taken offshore?
D1NZ, Mitchell, a massive issue for that car.
The sport surges forward, relentless and unyielding. The rebels of motorsport continue to inspire, to defy limits, to write the next chapter in an unending saga. After several years away from the venue, we saw Redwood take a flame-throwing battle against Jenkins for a return to the stadium. Lastly, in 23, it was Tukuro's Taylor James Championship title fight season in his monstrous 1,000 horsepower S14, taking the win with the walls over Woolhouse. A close proximity season between the two that would ultimately see Fangadan claim his 4th title. And now, It's your turn to witness history with the return of an iconic staple of New Zealand drifting proximity in what is always a sellout event with a new breed of motorsport rebels. Auckland Tamaki Makaurau. D1NZ returns to Go Media Mount Smart Stadium.
This event will sell out. Round 3 D1NZ, March 7 and 8 here at Go Media Stadium. The smoke show is back. You're going to want to be a part of it.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along to Go Media Stadium here at Mount Smart. Warren Sear on commentary with Kenny Ruddle, our technical commentator. Obviously, a bit of a interesting evening here at Mount Smart. A lot of challenges facing the team here on this custom-built race surface here at Go Media Mount Smart. But we are ready, Kenny, for the Pro Sport qualifying, and we're looking forward to getting down to a bit of action after what has been a very challenging afternoon of testing.
Yeah, it's been an absolutely challenging afternoon for the series officials as well as the track crew out on track here this afternoon. We had quite a bit of heat and rubber dialed into the track this afternoon. So to give you a bit of an update of what happened late this Arvo was around about 4:30, 5 o'clock. We had the track start coming apart in a section, in the back section, sort of just past outside zone 5 from memory. So just not far off OZ5 was a big patch of asphalt that had started to go soft. It's actually really, really soft. I went out and stood on it and jumped on it, and it felt like a giant kitchen sponge. So we've actually had to, the track started to come apart. We've managed to call up some guys to come and lay some new asphalt in there, fix the issue. And we are away and ready for qualifying.
All right, the main thing is we are down to action here, and here is our first qualifier for the evening in the Makeshift Motorcycle Solutions 350Z, and that is Giovanni Kumitonga. Fun story, Kenny. Giovanni, I first met here at Mount Smart when he was 5 years old at Mount Smart under the tutelage of G. Much in the Southside Sliders squad. So if you hear plenty of noise in the background, that will be Giovanni's support crew here at Mount Smart and Force, a young man looking to make a name for himself and follow in the footsteps of the likes of Nico Reed, of G. Much, of Alu Nathan, all legends of the D1NZ sport. And good run there from Gio, just locks it in nice and safe, gets it around the track.
Those are some throwback names you're dishing out there, Warren.
Well, look, son. Look here, son. We're that old. We're that old that we're
You're not calling me son.
No, we're not doing that.
I think we're done with that joke.
All right, we'll stop that one. So Kenny and I are in the commentary box. So my name is Warren Sear. I've been around for a while, as you can see by the grey hair. So is Kenny. He's joined me as technical commentator for the season, and we are ecstatic to be bringing you the Pro Sport action here from Mount Smart Stadium. Looking forward to seeing those new emerging names coming through the sport. Gio, definitely someone to watch. Now, Kenny, in the new format, this is back-to-back qualifying runs, yeah?
Yeah, so this is only the second year that they've run this format, so it's back-to-back qualifying passes, and that keeps the track condition the same for everyone that goes out. So you're on a consistent track when you go out and set your 2 qualifying laps. You don't go out and set a lap and then come back half an hour or an hour later and the track conditions change. So it gives you 2 great opportunities to get some points down, get on that scoreboard, and hopefully get a shot at pole position later this evening.
And of course we do have a new set of judges in the house this year. So Ben Kai Bruin from Australia, Matt Kwok, former Speedway, motocross, jets, pretty much you name it, Kwok's owned it, and Tony Gallagher, Tony G, of course, manager of the Rotorua Rascals stock car team, back-to-back stock car teams champions. So congratulations to Tony, by the way, for surviving those victory celebrations. This is a newcomer to the series for this round. This is one of the PB clan. Kenny, did you know that? This is actually a cousin of Case and Cody. So this is one of the PB family. Well, this is the Murray side of the family. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what he throws down here. It is a beautiful looking car, isn't it? That blue really pops. It's just a royal blue, something like that. I don't know.
Some great new liveries, great new cars coming into the sport this year. Of course, the track layout that we're looking for, we are a little bit short on time, so we haven't been able to put that into the start of the broadcast. But if you are looking for the line and the scoring zones that the judges are looking for, we will try and articulate that throughout the evening. But you can also whip out your mobile phone and check out the D1NZ Facebook page, and you will find all the information there. As we take a look.
Yeah, now my apologies, I have given you the wrong name there, Kenny. There are two of the blue cars. The one that I was referring to is the one with the Jameson Civil on the side. That's a different entrant with the Senate Nursing on it, and that will be being driven by Jordan Richards. 247 Jordan Richards is the S15 for Senate Nursing, so my apologies to Jordan Richards for that. Darren Murray is the next car that we'll see after this. So we saw Giovanni Kumitonga first of all. He did his 2 passes, and I believe you, Kenny, have access to the real-time live scoring, don't you? So you can see
so it's Jordan Richards to the top with an 89.1, Giovanni 87.5, and he backed it up with a second best of a 79.3, so he's currently P2.
Okay, so what we have noticed this season is the scores are generally high, so most of the judges, basically the judges are looking at this and they sort of start at 100 and then just start working backwards with deductions. So let's see how Jordan Richards goes here, looking to lock in his second qualifying pass of the evening. Senate Nursing, L Branch Fabrication, must have some links to the north, maybe Kenny. Do you think he's fluent maybe in Whangarei?
L Branch Fabrication, of course, putting together some great fabrication on all sorts of motorsport cars and vehicles, based out of Auckland.
Did a little bit of work maybe with our old Coyote mate, Whangadan. Yeah.
I think they were modifying a golf cart to do,
of course
to do some crazy things.
All right, so hey, welcome into all of your Oversteer TV subscribers as well on the in the chat boxes. So as always, keep it friendly, keep it fun, keep it positive. We don't mind you guys having opinions, but as soon as it starts getting a little bit too heated in there, it does kind of self-police itself, really. But look, keep the drifting vibes positive, as they like to say.
Yeah, do let us know where you're tuning in live from around the world, and join the chat box. You have to be a subscriber to sign up to the live chat and join in a bit of the banter.
25 is Darren Murray. This is the gentleman I was referring to earlier out of that very famous Waiuku-based racing stable. I know the family been around the speedway scene with super stocks for a long time. So for those tuning in from overseas, that's basically a steel cage on wheels with a Toyota or a Nissan V8 underneath the bonnet at about 500 horsepower, and they spend time crashing into each other for fun. So if you want something to do in between your drifting fix, check out Superstock Teams Champs and you'll get an idea of what we're talking about.
So if you've just joined us here at the track or on the live stream, it is qualifying for round 3 of the Pro Sport Series, which is limited to a 235 radial tyre. These guys aren't allowed to run a semi-slick tyre like the Pro class will later this evening. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll update you on that as well with the schedule changes. We have to be out of here at 10:30 for the live track, so we could end up being under force majeure time ruling, which means we might have a modified qualifying session. So we're either going to see no session at all tonight, or we're going to see one pass, depending on how timing goes. If the session runs through, we might be able to get the next one all the way through as well.
And that is going to depend entirely on how hard these guys want to push. And as we know, Kenny, sometimes when the helmet goes on, the red mist comes down, and yeah, some of these guys will be getting right out to the edge of the track. So the drivers you are seeing at the moment, the way that this works is reverse order of the championship. So these are all guys who haven't competed so far this season, so they are getting their very first taste of D1NZ action for the season. And they're doing a pretty solid job. That's a nice run there along the wall there from Darren Murray. I love that drone footage. I used to hate drones, right? The drones used to make me feel real sick, but now they've just come such a long way in such a short period of time.
I think the first ever drone that came to D1NZ was like a $20,000 or $30,000 machine, and it crashed in the middle of the track.
Oh, that was a Red Bull drone.
It was about as big as a helicopter.
Yeah, it was a Red Bull drone. And
so technology's come a long way.
I remember that. That was at Hampton Downs. You and I were on commentary, and it fell out of the sky because they forgot to charge the batteries. And I remember distinctly looking at the cameraman's face as tears came out for the smashed camera. So live real-time scoring. Kenny, how did Darren Murray feel there as we take a look at Blair Gilman for landmark homes?
Darren Murray with an 85.7 for his best run, his second best 64.6. Bumpers flying off on the concrete on those outer zones. You'll see those yellow concrete walls lining the track, which are marking the outside zones. Now, we're basically looking for a big, wide line here. Lots of aggression, lots of fluidity, but it's all about throttle. It's the smallest track of the season, but it's all about so much throttle use, getting out to a wide line and really getting on those concrete walls.
Yeah, outside, apart from that one modified zone.
Eight outside scoring zones. They're all zones. There's no clipping points, and there's no inner zones, no inner clips. So it's a full outside wide line around the circuit, and it's certainly changed the dynamic of how the cars are going to battle tomorrow as well, especially with that little pothole, if you call it. It wasn't really a pothole. It was
sinkhole. It's like a sinkhole.
Yeah, it was beginning to be one.
Yeah, so if you have just tuned in, this is the Pro Sport qualifying. So we've had a few questions just asking what's going on here, particularly around the likes of Lauri Heinonen and Luke.
Here it is there.
Yeah, they are in the Pro class. So this is the Pro Sport class, which is 235 wide radial tyres. These are more what we call our development drivers. Basically, these guys that you're seeing at the moment, they are very early on in their drifting careers. Most of the guys we're seeing at the moment haven't actually done a D1 round yet this season. So if you tuned in, you would have seen rounds 1 and 2, where of course we have Corbin Wilson and Guy Maxwell win a round each, respectively, at the Taupo Motorsport Park. So they have got locked in good early points. And of course, Kenny, we have this season the largest ever prize for both Pro Sport and Pro. $15,000 worth of trip to Japan for the Drift Japan Tours experience.
Yeah, it's such a cool experience, right? Because you get to go to the homeland of drifting essentially and go drive all these iconic tracks with a whole bunch of like-minded guys, and go and thrash some tyres over there and enjoy some of the Japanese cuisine and scenery.
Yeah, raw eel, I heard, was something was on the menu. Tyler Knowles will be next to go. Tyler Knowles is part of the Friends Motorsport team, so teammate to Curtis Lilly, who we saw with his first podium.
Just to update you there, Blair Gilman had to pull off the line there. He's currently in P4 with an 82.4, but his radiator fan stopped working, so his temps were going through the roof, and he's decided to pull out of that second run.
Right, so because he's withdrawn from that, he would forfeit that run, is that right, Kenny?
I think under the ruling he would
probably
need...
because of time, right?
I'm not sure how they deem crossing up to the line with a short track off the top of my head with the rule book, but essentially he would have to have till the end of the session to line back up again.
Yeah, let's see how this plays out, right, as we watch Tyler Knowles. We know Tyler Knowles worked really, really hard to try and get to those first 2 rounds. Kenny just couldn't quite make it work. Had some, I believe it was engine dramas in the Carter's Friends Motorsport machine, but those are beautiful looking and well-prepared cars, and great to see Tyler out here representing all of his sponsors in his first D1NZ outing for the season. There are those cones that you will have heard Kenny and I referencing. That is the, we'll call it the Mount Smart sinkhole for now. That's what it effectively is. That has been repaired here, and that'll be left to set overnight.
So because of that, we've had to adjust the line, which you'll see those orange cones marking that section, which means the guys... What it's curiously done, however, and the judges all agree on this, is that it's actually forcing the guys to actually commit further to that wider line that they were initially asking for. So it's a slight adjustment in line, trying to avoid where that sinkhole appeared, but hopefully tomorrow we can actually get back onto the original line for the battles, which will ease things up a little bit for the chase car to try get on the door through that setup zone.
All right, so where are we at? So I do like this real-time scoring. This is quite good.
Jordan Richards still at the top of the sheets at the moment with an 89.1. Tyler Knowles, 89. And Giovanni Kimitanga, 87.5.
Okay. All right, so pressure coming on really for these guys to start locking in, trying to obviously make life a bit easier for themselves. The higher you qualify, in theory, the more you get to lead battles. Obviously, qualifier number 1 is going to be ideal. And of course, Kenny, we had that huge qualifier prize as well tonight. $2,000 worth of voucher from Bold Signage for the Q1 result in Pro Sport. I think that's the biggest That's the biggest voucher prize that I know of for Pro Sport that we've actually ever had at D1. Can you think of one? I can't think of anyone any bigger over the years. Probably the biggest.
We've had some cash prizes.
Had some big cash stuff, but that's probably the biggest voucher one that we've had. So anyway, see how we go as we make our way through the field. Another newcomer to the series, Paulo Tavares. I think Paulo is Brazilian, is that right? And this is a very unique car, of course, in the BMW. Don't have too many of them competing here in New Zealand, whereas as Lauri Heinonen pointed out to us this morning, they're kind of everywhere when you go up to the European series. So that's how Paulo goes.
I think this BMW chassis is starting to become a little bit more popular this side of the world as well, because we're actually sort of running out of rear-wheel drive cars that you can purchase and modify. So most of the BMW fleet come out with a rear-wheel drive setup, and a lot of them do have multi-link rear-end suspension and some really cool chassis designs that I think drifters have sort of overlooked over the years. And something is...
What is that? Is it spinning? It's just spinning one wheel.
Has he broken a diff
or
axle?
Yeah, something like that, because it's just turned one. You're right. There was definitely no smoke coming from the other side of the vehicle.
The one-wheeler peeler, we call that down here, down under.
Now, what we do know, though, Kenny, is that we don't actually have a full 32, and we are in a top 32 format. So by leaving the line, he will have got effectively what we'd call a zeroed out run, but he actually gets 3 points, right? So Paulo Tavares, because he has left the line, can now effectively return to the pits. He will make battles tomorrow, and he will have the opportunity to, I guess, further himself in competition. But it doesn't look like he's going to take any further part in qualifying at the moment, because I can't see that they'll get that car turned around in time. And I don't think you have the ability to 5-minute a qualifying pass, do you? You have to run those consecutives under the rule. So let's just have a look and see if there's a big patch of oil right in the middle of the track there. Is it oil or water? Just waiting for a confirmation as to what that is on the track there. That is oil that has made its way onto the track from Paulo Tavares vehicles. So that is Purahi from Smart Steel, sponsors of our recovery efforts this season, Kenny. They are with us for the whole season. Thank you to Purahi.
Sorry, bad BMW joke, but a BMW leaking oil never.
No. Are we doing that early? No.
Mine does. Well, mine doesn't leak it, it eats it.
Have you ever had a car that hasn't leaked oil? Because like you've had some questionable vehicles over the years.
Yeah, I think my 20 was the best, the cleanest.
Yeah, we like. Yeah. All right, so just doing a bit of a tidy up on track here. We are in Pro Sport qualifying. If you have just joined us here at Go Media Mount Smart Stadium, the Repco Power Night, round 3 of the D1NZ National Drifting Championship for 2025. At the moment, who's leading? Is it Dean Young leading Pro Sport points, Kenny? Is it Dean Young and then Guy and Corbin? Is that how it stacks up? I think it...
Oh, hang on. Just
refresh our memories. We should know these things off the top of our heads, but we've been looking at so many different sheets today. That's the Pro one.
After round 2, Dean Young in P2, so Corbin Wilson's
Corbin Wilson's leading.
Yeah.
I should know that, shouldn't I?
Corbin Wilson at the top with 180 points for the Pro Sport Series. Dean Young in second, Curtis Lilly in third. And he's actually probably one to keep an eye on with his driving style and the setup in that car as well, as he comes out later on this evening.
The car's fast, isn't it? Curtis Lilly's car is fast, and we think it was somewhere around 530. There is Tony G, that is Matt Kwok, and then it's Ben Kai Bruin from Australia. Mr. Brutally Honest Feedback. I don't think they can hear us up there. I'm not sure if they've got a speaker up there, but if they can, Matt Kwok, no, you're not allowed to buy a drift car this weekend. We know you want to. There they are. That's their viewpoint from up there, high above Mount Smart Stadium. So they watch from up there, and that's how they judge, and they also have the benefit of a DSO replay system. They have additional camera angles that Kenny and I and the general public do not see. So those are the 3 wise men, so to speak. And overall, Kenny, feedback towards judging really positive so far this year. We've had a few controversial things, but generally people seeing things pretty positively.
Yeah, and it's controversy in a sense of that it's a learning experience for everyone, and so everyone's picking it apart, right? Motorsport is all about bending the rules, pushing the limits, both in the car and in the rule book, right? So every team in pit lane is now having to learn a whole new system, and It's very different. It's very different in what you can get away with, what you can't get away with, and what the judges are looking for. So, and how the scoring actually works this year. So, if you're unfamiliar with how D1NZ has been scoring, with the new 2025 season, we're looking at a lead judge, a chase judge, and a style judge. And also during the qualifying sessions, all three judges, their scores are actually collated, so it's an average score across the three judges. So it's completely changed the way that we attack a typical qualifying session, and it's certainly getting a lot of good feedback.
Yeah, overall a very positive response towards the judging that has been done so far, which is a good thing, and it helps improve the sport, and it helps improve the overall quality of our drivers. And obviously we want to have world-class drivers who can go anywhere in the world and compete. And yes, for those asking, Lauri Heinonen is here. At the moment we are watching the Pro specs. The Pro specs effectively, there's not a lot of difference, to be fair, Kenny, between some of the top Pro spec cars and the top Pro cars. The only difference really is in the tyre that you're using in the back. They're on a 235 wide radial tyre as a maximum, whereas our Pro drivers are all running a 265 wide semi-slick tyre in a majority of cases. However, there has been some talk, Kenny, that there are actually drivers running radial tyres. So a tyre that's defined as, it's a dot rated street tyre you can use, but by definition it would be a radial tyre as opposed to a pure competition tyre. And that's been something that's been interesting as we've had the five aligned sponsors come into the series this year. So you've got the Tri-Ace tyre, you've got the Zeknova tyre, you've got the Zestino tyre, you've got the Good Ride tyre, and what's the one I'm missing? The GT Radial tyre is the other one that is part of the series this year. So all of those tyres available for any driver to use. They can pick and choose basically what feels best to them.
So issues there for Dan Smith pulling out of that run. Smoke coming out of the bonnet pads.
Digger Dan. The car looks great, doesn't it? We haven't seen Dan
brand new
for a while.
livery, brand new livery on that car, and the car looked and sound great in practice earlier this morning. But so it's a bit of a shame to see him pull out of that run there.
Yeah, Digger Dan, he was actually out on the surface earlier, wasn't he, to help with the repairs.
Of course, Digger Dan being a long-time supporter, crew member of the D1NZ series, and of course then decided to hang up his D1 shirt and put on a race helmet.
There's the sinkhole. That's the Mount Smart sinkhole that we just skimmed over there with the cones around it. So if you have just tuned in on our coverage, the reason for the delay this evening is that effectively the surface here became very soft in a particular section, and it required a full repair of hot mix. So this is Blair. Oh, this is Blair Gilman back for second runs. So it is definitely Blair Gilman. It came up with Kevin Ryan's graphic on the screen. Kevin Ryan's car is black.
Or just being out of sync.
Just out of sync. Yeah, just out of order there.
I think under the ruling you've got to get back as soon as the repair's done. So you've got to line. You can't just sit out and wait for everyone else to do your run, right?
Yeah, because you could effectively play a game where you waited for conditions to suit, right?
Yeah.
If you weren't happy, you felt there was sunstrike or something like that, you could, play the game, so to speak. But that is not how the rules work, and they are required to do a consecutive back-to-back set of passes, and that is what Blair Gilman, nice and wide there from Blair Gilman, flicked it right back out to Angle. Blair Gilman, a driver who has been participating in the MSC Challenge, and one of those guys who he tends to build into things, just sort of crept, and then actually for 2 years in a row, came third at the final round of MSC Challenge. So he is a driver who knows how to find his way onto the podium, and he was up against the likes of Corbin Wilson, Jason Wu, who are actually his competitors here tonight as well.
So Jordan Richards still top of the sheets ahead of Blair Gilman, Tyler Knowles in P3, Giovanni, Darren Murray, Daniel Smith with the Ghost Point, and Paulo Tavares with the Ghost Point as well.
That's pretty cool. Watching Jordan Richards all the way from Niue. Have we ever had... We've talked about it before, because we have gone to Pacific Direct, haven't we? Tomorrow when we do Sky, we've got Sky TV, KO, etc., Pacific Direct, but we don't tend to have a lot of drift fans tuning in from the island. So hello over there in Niue, watching Jordan Richards, and he is top of the table for you at the moment, so that's not a bad effort. And hello to all of our Finnish fans tuned in as well. It must be early in the morning and you need more coffee, because you keep asking where Lauri is. Lauri's coming up in Pro a little bit later on, but what I can tell you is that Lauri Heinonen is our very first car to run in Pro, and I would not want to be following that man, because we've seen him aggressive and fast and smooth and flowing in every single practice lap he's done. As we take a look at Kevin Ryan for bold signs, and he shuts that one down, and that will zero out. Kevin Ryan has shut that one down, and that will zero out.
So if you are wondering what all those stacks of cars are in the middle of the infield there are more to come, because we've got the big monster truck shows happening tomorrow. We've got 3 scheduled tomorrow. So
yeah, what time are they? 3:30, 5:30 and 7:30, I think it is, something like that. Obviously pending changes to the schedule, and things are a little bit up and down on all these custom-made surfaces.
big shout out to the team at JDM Racing, of course, for bringing Lauri Heinonen over.
Mr. McManaway, so they had
the wild cards this year.
Yeah, so Jeff Jones was here for rounds 1 and 2, Lauri Heinonen for round 3. Do we know who's potentially on the cards for 4? Has there been any talk about that, Kenny?
For Manfield, but some interesting names for Bay Park, that's for sure.
Right. I actually heard that that you were talking about wanting to drive again, Kenny, because last time you drove here at Mount Smart, it went quite well from memory, didn't it? I can do that.
I think the only time I've been able to get it sideways around here was when it was wet.
Yeah, I think this is Luke Chappell-Sayer, Team 12AM Drift, Luke Chappell-Sayer. Yep, 372 Luke Chappell-Sayer. So that team is so named because that's generally when all the work on the car gets done. Isn't that when all the best work on the car gets done?
It's a pretty cool team, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, seems pretty fitting for a pro sport team who are out here chasing their dreams, and this is very reminiscent of the old days. I think we sort of started coming to Mount Smart after these cars kind of phased out of D1, really, didn't we? We didn't have a lot of them sort of around the 12, 13-ish we started coming here, I think. The old big bodies had kind of done most of their best work in sort of the 5, 6, 7
Everyone
eras.
started swapping to the shorter wheelbase cars. The Sylvia then sort of took over
Well,
worldwide. I mean, because it became such a great rear-wheel drive platform that really just suited the sport. So that's where the takeover happened.
Yeah, Adam Richards kind of kicked that off, didn't he, with the HKS-sponsored car out of Dodson's?
Actually, in fact, I think he would be one of the very few Kiwi drivers that have actually gone over to Europe and driven over there.
Yeah, not a lot. It was really interesting this morning. You'll see some footage of it probably tomorrow on the broadcast. Case Pullenbury talking to Lauri Heinonen this morning about, well, if I wanted to go to Europe to do a campaign over there, what would it sort of be like? So really interesting watching two very different characters talking the language of drift. Shared love of going sideways and just kind of going, well, hey, what would it take to go here, there, or wherever?
The best thing about the language barrier, right, is like drift sign language is the same no matter where you go.
Yeah, the universal hand signs, and the very best advocate of it, I think, is still Fangadan. It's either Fangadan or it's that other guy, Moderately Angry Michelle. And we're not mentioning him because I know what will happen then. We'll get the where is he. I did hear some other.
He'd be prepping for Summer Bash. That's
he would, yeah. Southern Bash down at.
Southern Bash.
Yeah, Southern Bash down at Highlands Park, a exhibition drift demo event. So no top 16 down there, Kenny. Just drift demos going on down there, but opportunity for drivers to be on a never before drifted track down at Southern Bash.
So our top 10 building, we've got 3 drivers with the ghost point of 1. Jordan Richards still top of the sheets ahead of Blair Gilman and Tyler Knowles.
Chris Mildove for Horizon Tyres out of the Kapiti Coast in Wellington. So this used to be Chris's road car, and he's converted it over. That's such an it's a very pro sporty kind of story, isn't it? You tend, I think, when you're starting off, you're early in your career, you kind of do modify the road car before you kind of have the bug fully bite and you start effectively prepping a comp chassis, right?
This day and age, committing a road car like that, yeah, that's brave. There's not many examples of the old school Japanese 4-doors anymore. So you've got the R32 sedan, and if they are good examples, they're show cars, right? They are so shiny.
Yeah,
and they're not driven every day, that's for sure.
No, show cars don't. I mean, show cars and drift don't go together very well generally.
I mean, 30 years ago, you'd pick up a Safira for $300 and weld the diff and go drifting.
Well, that's how it started, right? Like we've talked about this at length in terms of a lot of the cars used to be built the week of an event, right? And it was always what tyres can you get a hold of and then I guess the first to really probably chase the dream and build a car was, look, it's part of the Mad Mike origin story. He talks about going to, I think it was Redline Performance in Penrose, had that RX-7 shell there, and he sold Firsty, right, for him and Tony to go and chase the dream, and Fanger kind of followed suit with the S15. Gaz and Tony Wider built the S14 in the shed out at Hoanga Road at Dargaville. All those iconic builds. Adam Richards kind of stayed true to what he had. Carl Reutemann's car originally was his drift car that he used to run at Night Speed Drag Wars, so he kind of then converted that to come drifting. Then we had the Wider years. Kurt Whitaker's early car was 32 as well before he built the A31. A31, sorry.
Yeah. That was silver and blue, I think.
Yeah, it was silver and blue in the Harcourt's colours. I think it was Harcourt's, I want to say.
Of course, Kurt Whitaker, a name that's synonymous with the track here at Mount Smart. Of course, one of the podium finishers many, many years ago now, driving for Rattler Motorsport at the time, I think. The big
Cam
V8.
Ombler Ray, right out and rocking the wall. Well, that was aggressive, Kenny.
A little bit of a shudder in the front end of the steering as he was coming around. But straight on the wall here for the first lap for Cameron Ombler-Bray. Of course, he was one of the D1NZ scholarship contestants or entries before the season started, based out of Wellington, running the V8-powered C33 Laurel, and some other places around the world.
Mazda and Mazda.
We always sort of went
that's always fun to play
the low rail.
Yeah. So again,
I think he's got a brand new turbo on the car, and he said he was loving it. So
big Pulsar, wasn't it? Pulsar, I think it was Pulsar turbo got fitted. So there we go, locking through Kenny. Kenny's got the instant results coming through to him. It's still Jordan Richards, isn't it, leading the way? Jordan Richards leading the way.
Yeah, we've had 4 guys that have effectively scored what we call a 0, but they get 1 ghost point for leaving the line. So we're still waiting to see some more faster, more committed runs as we build on down through the Pro Sport 235 series. Of course, these guys aren't allowed to run nitrous oxide either, so you'll see some of the Pro Championship guys will run nitrous oxide.
Yeah, we are. So we are running in reverse order of current competition standings. So the first few drivers we saw were all drivers who were making their competition debuts, hence a few zeros probably expected there, Kenny. Cam Ombler-Bray, however, was with us, and he locks in another score.
The car was just firing into an inside line from a majority of that lap, so that'll be hurting him in terms of a score, but that will be points on the board, no less, for his 2 back-to-back runs. We'll wait for that score to come through and I'll update. So Jordan Richards, of course, sitting atop and still holding on to that provisional pole at the moment. We're still yet to see some of the top front runners in the series come out, and the likes of Corbin Wilson, Guy Maxwell, Dean Young, Daniel Edwards too, I think will be one to watch this year as well. So
it is, yeah, so it is all basically. I've completely lost my train of thought there, Kenny.
It's okay.
I was going to say something incredibly insightful to you, and then it's just completely gone as I was basically watching the judges fumble around. So the little brief break here is the judges can't see because of where the sun is at the moment, so they need to be able to have fair vision of each driver's run, and that is Isaac Aldridge sitting in the pit chute at the moment. What I was going to say is how cool is it to have Jordan Richards as a newcomer to the series sitting at the top there, and then what I was going to say is it's pretty cool to have the fans tuned in from the Pacific Islands as well, right behind him. A big warm welcome to Isaac Aldridge starts real wide there,
right out to the wall. Now he runs the risk of potentially debeating a tyre because that rim was right up against the concrete wall. So you see that there's no rear bash bar on the car.
Yeah, Isaac Aldridge has 2 speeds, right? He's either 150% or he's about 75%. And he did say to me earlier when I was talking to him, he was sick of not qualifying well, so he wanted to throw down and he wanted to be aggressive. But I think he's gone a little bit too far the other way with a couple of wall taps there. And what we do know is that the judges have been very specific in that they don't like you hitting the wall. They want you running around the wall. It's about 10 100 to 150 millimetre off the wall. So if you're hitting the wall, it's impacting the angle that the car's carrying, and there are deductions being placed on the driver for that. So it is good from a commitment point of view.
A spicy run to start, his first. So back out of the scrub box and back on the line here for one of the regular competitors in the MSC Drift Challenge.
Yeah,
you can also watch the MSC Drift Challenge replays on Oversteer TV.
Teammate to Blair Gilman, so they do have an unfortunate habit of coming up against each other in battles. It does seem to be something that happens a lot with. He didn't back off, did he? He wasn't afraid of getting back out there wide again.
I think it was too early on the handbrake though. You can't use the handbrake to enter, so it was great to get the car out onto the wall, and there might be a little bit of leniency in it during qualifying, but certainly not during the battles. We're looking for handbrake dabs. No, not too much excessive handbrake use around this course to settle the car. So you'll see a lot of the pro guys will use a lot of left foot dabs tomorrow night. But the judges were super clear on using their handbrake after initiation. Yeah. Get the car in there, set up on the wall, and just use a little bit of the handbrake to settle the car. You can't enter on handbrake.
Yeah, so what basically the judges have said is just full throttle, right? They basically want full throttle. They want you delivering the maximum velocity run to enable the chase driver to chase as hard as they possibly can, because it's the best show for our fans. That's basically what they want. So we are watching pro sport. It is it's about 7 o'clock here in New Zealand on a Friday night, so most people still at work. If you're not from Auckland, then you probably don't understand Auckland traffic, so it isn't easy to get here on a Friday night. You're either probably here from about 3 o'clock onwards, or you're probably watching from the comfort of the couch, in which case you're tuned in on Oversteer TV live here with Kenny and myself as we watch Aidan Daly from the RHP Drift Team, LS3 underneath the bonnet of the S14 as he goes through UDC. UDC, a new sponsor for this round, just testing the waters here, back around Drift Japan Tours through NZKW and the Repco Wall Ride, and then you'll close out through GT Radial, 10 Tool and NZKW, Kenny.
So if I'm looking for where the scoring zones are, you'll see the yellow barriers actually where the zones are.
So initially it was all outers, right? We didn't really get to show that video. There were 8 outer zones. I think it's now 8 outers and 1 inner, isn't it, because of the track breaker?
It's not an inner,
is it
it's a line adjustment.
Right.
So they're actually asking for them to go wider, commit wider on that outside zone 5. And if you are looking for the full rundown and virtual track layout of where the zones are and what the judges are looking for, you can head over to the D1NZ Facebook page, chuck us a like, and scroll down and you'll find the video.
All right, thanks so much, Kenny.
So this is a bit more full throttle commitment run here from the RHP S14 of Aidan Daly.
Yeah, we're sort of moving now into the middle, it's not fair to call them the middle tier, but the guys who've done a few more laps, the guys who've already got some D1 runs on the board this season. In the case of Aidan Daly, obviously Clayton Daly brother, great mates, and Kurt Blackie, Sam Eustace, such a part of that RHP team, along with the returning Drift Jesus.
It's pretty cool to have, you know,
a 5-car team.
A 5-car team, like, well, the guys at RHP, right, they're running in the pro class, but then you've got a pro sport car running as well. So there's a lot of experience that can be shared there. A lot of development can happen when you've got those kinds of setups.
Yeah, and great, and also having a very passionate team principal in Seaton Daly, who obviously is right behind all the boys in their endeavours. Here is Digger Dan in the resplendent Tyre General New Lynn livery. Bridgestone on the side of that car. Digger Dan, DK Smith Earthworks. Dan's been flirting with that wall all night, and I hate to say this, but I think he's going to bruise that pretty new wrap at some point.
Daniel Smith, of course, has the ghost point on the board, so he really needs to claw back some points on the second run. And I think I hexed him.
What did you just do?
I wasn't going to say anything, and I hexed him. I apologise, Dan. I owe you a beer.
I was happy you did it first, Kenny. I'm happy you did it first. He went through UDC, he got it sideways, and it just choked up, and it was almost just like it lost power for a moment, just came back out of drift.
See, the other challenge too is, like, we obviously had the track falling apart this afternoon, so that put a delay to things. We then had to come up with a battle plan to get to get the schedule operating for this evening. The problem with that big schedule shift is, right, is everyone's setting up the cars, they're going through their practice sessions. In the back of their mind, you're going to be thinking about the temp roll-off. The temp roll-off as you go into the evenings can be quite challenging for setting up these cars. How much grip are you going to dial in? What pressures are you going to run? Are you going to adjust the sway bar? Are you going to adjust the shocks? What are you going to do?
Kenny, things are about to get wild because Zach Green has already panel beated this car extensively today. You'll notice as it rolls off the line, it no longer has a rear windscreen. It no longer has any rear quarter glass. It looks slightly less
driving the longest wheelbase car in the series gets a bit tough, especially around the concrete jungles.
Well, particularly when you drive it like a madman. Like Zach Green is just that's all that car rolled in here this morning looking mint.
Immaculate.
It was immaculate.
He had it panel beaded. It was immaculate, fresh paint, and man, it is looking a bit sad today.
And that was about lap 3, I think he did that. He just sailed it straight off the end.
But what that does mean is the spectators are in for a spicy lap for sure.
Yeah, if you're in the end grandstand, you're probably in the best seat in the house for a Zach Green run because Te Puke Thunder certainly brings the noise. Well, I vote we just watch this one.
It was a lot of Te Puke Thunder. He just needed a little less thunder.
Yeah, let's just watch this and just see what Zach Green does because I don't want to be the one to hex him, but I've also seen what he's done today.
RB30 det powered, straight 6 turbo. Wagon Stagia, Nissan Stagia. Let's see what the Swagon Wagon can do.
Please don't kill Willie.
We tried not to hex that run, and then soon as we thought it was over. Man!
I think Zach Green. I think he's now my favourite driver. I think he's my favourite driver in the field. That is, I reckon Matt Kwok and Tony G up in the commentary box are like just full appreciation of speedway styles. Run the wall.
When he was coming up like onto the second to last outside zone, it almost looked like he was going to give it a kiss, and then he sort of massaged out of it. There was a small steering input, and he managed to correct it out. But then he did tag the last outside zone, and that was all she wrote.
Actually, we've had that happen. That reminds me of a couple of times here. We've actually had a number of cars finish the section, right? And then go past the end of the section.
I think
Kyle Jackways did it to Bex Bennett's car.
Had a famous one because he'd already stacked his car and he borrowed a car to try and qualify. And
yeah, he borrowed.
And he actually did an all right lap and then ended up smoking the wall right at the end.
Oh yeah, it was Bex Drift's car, Bex and Dan Bennett, and yeah, he'd smoked his car into the wall, and then he binned Bex's car as well. So. There we go, Ryan Parry, I believe that is. Ryan Parry, 777 in the red S14.
Okay, so just updating our scoreboard. Isaac Aldridge to the top with a 92.6. Jordan Richards P2 with 89.1. Blair Gilman in third with an 88.2.
Nice effort for Isaac Aldridge, and he clearly benefits from that initial aggression. That was nice there from Ryan Parry. Held nice proximity to the wall there. Stayed off it, which is what the judges have asked for. It is again all outer zones here at round 3 of the D1NZ at Mount Smart, Go Media Stadium.
Now, got a left foot being used there. You'll see the front LED light bar on top of the windscreen being lit up, which indicates to the judges when the left foot is being used.
So the proximity to the wall's good, but it didn't have the same impact and flow as Zach's run did it, because Zach's a wild man. Te Puke Thunder.
So just further to the scoring, so Isaac Aldridge in provisional pole with a 92.6, but it's actually, where was I? Jordan Richards, I think, was
just
actually the best.
Bumped, mate. He just got bumped.
Ryan Parry now to the top with a 93.6. So he's still got another run to go. Ryan Parry now in for a shot at pole position.
Now, just for purposes of clarity, because we're on the live stream, we see stuff in real time, but then the deductions can sometimes come off afterwards. So Kenny and I may say something and then it may be subject to a correction. So we're trying to keep you as in the moment as we possibly can, but yeah, don't hold it against us if something changes slightly afterwards.
So what I was looking at earlier when Isaac was holding P1, it was actually Jordan Richards who actually who had the best score in line and angle.
Right, so it's the, what is it, line angle?
So we're just waiting.
It's the style component.
Yeah.
That's effectively a byproduct of the aggression, the throttle.
The line. It's pretty much everything, right? And it's a lot of throttle use, steering input, and getting to the car, getting the car to snap to angle. Lots of good snappy transitions, fluidity, all of those sorts of things, and certainly emulation to the lead car is going to be the big one as we get into the tandem eliminations tomorrow. So we're just holding Ryan Parry at the moment because there's some debris on the track, and away we go.
I do greatly appreciate the fact all the drivers go to the effort of just doing a few little bits and pieces for the night round. Just the little touches, the lights and the various bits and pieces. Oh, look at that, that's smooth. Just gently caressing it as Sam West really crudely puts me in the bar before. Oh, look at that, Kenny, that is wide and that is smooth. I reckon we're definitely looking
So that's exactly the wide line that the judges had adjusted for the change in the line layout after outside zone 5. So what a great thunder run here from the 777 of Ryan Parry. He's already at the top of the scoreboard with a 93. Has he just gone better?
My guess is 96-ish, I reckon, Kenny. I reckon 96.
I mean, that was really filling that outer zone on OZ5. Really just filled it exactly where the judges wanted and got through that setup zone, which of course whereas the sinkhole has appeared.
He just ran it so smoothly, didn't he? He was just exactly that 100 millimetre off the wall. He never got too close where it looked like he was going to make contact and it was going to cause a waiver. So really well done there by Ryan Parry. And do we have a score in, Kenny? Yeah, we do.
Goes further, and you're not far off, Warren. 95.7.
There we go. Not bad, is it? Not bad. Here is this Matthew Brown? I think it's Matthew Brown. Yeah, Matthew Brown, who we did see an interesting run from earlier. Kenny sort of went backwards and then slapped into the wall hard, and as we know, he also had a rather eventful Taupo round as well.
Ryan Parry, Isaac Aldridge, and Jordan Richards, your top three.
How cool would it be for Jordan Richards to hang on and be in the qualifying podium, so to speak, first round out? Don't know a lot about Jordan. We'll find out a bit more tomorrow. And I tell you what, actually, sometimes the best way to find this stuff out is if you do actually know a little bit about Jordan Richards' driving career, so to speak, drop it into the Oversteer TV chat box. Let us know a little bit about Jordan's driving career thus far. Please make it factual and don't make it up like some people love to do, because that just spoils the party if you make things up. But we'd love to know what he's been up to and how he got here. I also wish that I spoke Finnish. I would love to understand some of the Finnish comments that are coming through.
Might try and learn a bit of Finnish tonight.
Yeah, we did. So we did learn some phrases. We've learned Scandinavian flick. We've learned good battle, and we've effectively learned what translates to goddamn, which apparently is how Finnish drivers celebrate a particularly strong performance or battle. Matthew Brown on track. I think last time too, Matthew Brown wanted us to point out that it isn't always him that crashes his cars. Sometimes it's Russell Beard. I do know he wanted me to make a point of that at the last round. So Matthew Brown taking the safe inner option there. Okay, so Matthew Brown locks in, and the next one I think, Kenny, in the order might be, is it Riley McEwen, 14-year-old Riley McEwen, the scholarship one. What can you tell me about the scholarship, Kenny? Because you were a big part of that. This was all sort of done in done and sorted out before I kind of came back on board. So what was the scholarship all about?
So the D1NZ Pro Sport Scholarship was trying to engage a bit more social media into the sport, as well as try and develop some young guys out of the grassroots side of the sport and into their first sort of pro spec level competition. So it was great to actually get guys out of the likes of MSC Challenge, Drift Wars, Drift South, certainly all over the country, different places where guys have gone out to do a bit of grassroots drifting. They might have dabbled in a few little lower tier competitions, but never had a chance at driving at D1NZ before. So we put the scholarship together, and there were dozens of entries. In the end, there was only 4 finalists, and Riley McEwen came out on top, and he was our winner.
Yeah, and Riley McEwen, of course, is also a mini stock driver and had a very successful weekend, picking up I believe a couple of race wins last weekend in his mini stock as well. So those are little steel cages with little Datsun motors in them. Riley McEwen doing a lot of motorsport at the moment, a lot of driving. Great to see him out here in that four-wheel drive warehouse sponsored entry, that is. So they've got the little car and the big car, right? That's the 13B car that's about 400 horsepower. And then his father, Ross, of course, has the 20B with about 700 horsepower, which Riley, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, jumped into at the last run. But great to see him out there doing his thing.
Well, it's a great little setup for a track like this, right? 13B, old school FC setup.
What were you doing? Were you doing anything cool like this at 14?
Not at 14.
No.
I did learn to drive when I was like 11.
Right. There's a part of me that wants to mention you driving an FC here at Mount Smart, but we're not going to. We're not going to talk about that.
It ate a lot of cones.
Yeah, it did. Hey, so we've got there's about 7 cars to go still in Pro Sport. They went to Pro qualifying, and Lauri Heinonen is the first to run tonight in Pro qualifying. So Lauri Heinonen is first to run. My guess is he'll be about 15 minutes away at this point. We'll probably do, I would imagine, a sweep and a remark of the zones on the track, and then we'll unleash the pros. We are going to run through till 10:30 p.m. here tonight at the Go Media.
So it looks like we are on track to actually get that session underway and going. Oh, was that a tag of the wall there?
Just a little rub, and then probably just unsettled him. He'll be used to hitting the wall from Speedway, right?
Was that a preemptive save off the wall?
Yeah. So
now, of course, Riley isn't actually the youngest ever driver.
He's the youngest
in New Zealand, right, for drifting. So
I think he's the youngest ever motorsport New Zealand competitor, potentially. There's some debate as to whether it was him or Lincoln Whittet, who was... Zach is back. The Zach attack. T Pookie Thunder. Are we just watching this one again, Kenny? Let's just watch. I just want to watch just to see what happens. All right, tune it.
We'll let the RB do the commentary.
Stagia singing.
I think... he might join that pile a bit later on tomorrow when the monster trucks get out there and start doing jumps.
It's not that bad, Kenny. It's not that bad.
I'm being a bit ruthless.
All right, here we go. So that's a safer run there from Zach. I think we need do you know what I think we need? An entertainer award. We need an entertainer award. If you are a sponsor out there in live stream land, or if you're in the crowd and you feel like parting with some cold hard cash, I think we should have an entertainer award. Speaking of, Sam Rowson, with that fantastic moustache he's sporting, is also somebody who is well worth keeping an eye on, Kenny, because he was very aggressive earlier on today as well in that C33 Laurel. This is one of your favourites. This is the one we were debating whether this is the ex-McFarlane Tanana car, is it, Kenny?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it is or not. It very much channels that sort of mid-2000s vibe of Gazza T when he used to compete here, and Glenn McFarlane as well, who used to compete in D1NZ. Then I guess you think back to even the Jason Sellers, Shane Harris, those guys. Oh, that's a big shortcut through the inside there for Rowson, and that will be a big deduction. The judge is very specific this morning not to shortcut over the inside of that corner, and Sam will be kicking himself for that because he did pretty, I mean, he's pretty tidy other than that big shortcut over the inside there. Well, there are the judges, the three wise men, Mr. Kwok, Mr. Gallagher, and Benkai Bruin. And just in behind them are our officials who assist with the what we call the DSO system. So what does that stand for?
So you've got race control right behind them, and then off to the behind that big screen you saw was the DSO system and the team there. So driving standards observer, which obviously runs the
that's what the O is. Okay.
Separate replay machine that can digest pretty much all the cameras that we have here, and they can go through and have a look at individual cameras. They can pick out what they want to see and clarify things. Which just keeps the show running, and of course gives every tool available to the judges to make sure they get their scores correct.
Right, so progressing through quite fast here, Kenny. We've got basically the top 7 in the championship still to go, and then we're straight into Pro after probably a bit of a clean-up and a remark. Sam Rowson on track for his second pass. If you have just joined us, all the drivers run back-to-back consecutive passes. We have seen a few go away, make mechanical repairs and come back, which they are entitled to do. But generally, the passes must be consecutive back-to-back completed on the same set of tyres here. This seeds all 27 of our drivers into battles for tomorrow. We run a full top 32 tree, so by my calculations, the top 6 will get a bye into the top 16, and everyone else will battle it out in the 32. And that, Sam Rowson, is a much better run there. Nice and tidy there from Rowson. That'll get him some better points in that first run, Kenny, because he would have... Oh, what are you doing, Sam?
Just collected the fence at the end there, so he's well across the finish line there, but certainly now he's got some work to do to repair the...
Oh, that was just to get those guys on TV. You guys just wanted to be on TV. Hey, how are we down there underneath the tree? You guys having a good time down there? Oh, it was just to get Putahi on TV.
So Sam Rowson just about fully collected the fence at the end there, and so now they're backing him out off the start line. So we're coming to the closing stages of the Pro Sport 235 qualifying session, round 3 of the series here at Go Media Stadium in Auckland. A big shout out to everyone tuning in live around the world on the live stream, and everyone here at the track enjoying a bit of drifting action, Friday night drift action.
Is that why it turned around? There's oil there. Did something break?
So you might have punctured something, or something's just over. It might just be water, sprayers or coolant. Of course, many cars run water systems in the cars to keep temps down. Of course, you're not allowed to run them during the runs, and certainly there are some controversial rules about fluids leaking from the cars as well over the years.
Well, there's been lots of stuff like that, because there was another one for a while too about flames, wasn't there? So I remember years and years ago there was one about flames, because some of the cars were tuned to do a massive overrun, and it would effectively send a big flame out the exhaust, and it is deemed as, I think, being sort of conduct detrimental to your opponent in chase, because I guess a big fire appearing in front of you probably is quite distracting. We like
a little fire.
Yeah,
not a big fire.
Yeah, so still to go, Jason Wu, Daniel Edwards, Blake Miles, Guy Maxwell, Curtis Lilly, Dean Young and Corbin Wilson, our current series leader. And then we are into our pros, which is being led off by Lauri Heinonen. And of course, we also have the Jenkins brothers returning tonight. Keisuke Nagashima steps up from pro.
Of course, he had a big stack in practice as well.
He did. He kick-flipped and did a wall grind. And I don't skateboard. Do you? Jason Wu, the Wuro fighter. He is a Formula Drift Japan license holder. E92 BMW with supercharged LS3 underneath the bonnet. Jason, a driver who's generally pretty smooth, is usually quite aggressive. He likes to get out and run along the walls, Kenny, but maybe playing it safe here on the first run. It's probably been, I know it's been his team's criticism to him since he stepped into the new car, as he was always really aggressive in the S14 and he'd often contact the walls. He's almost gone the opposite way a little bit too much with the BMW, played it a little bit too safe, and I think again we sort of see him just coming off the wall maybe a little bit early there. Just we know he's capable of those mid to high 90s scores, but it's just not quite the aggressive run maybe that we want to see from Jason.
So Ryan Perry still at the top of the sheets with a 95.7. Isaac Aldridge in P2 with a 92.6. Jason Wu just set a 90 with a in position 3.
Wow, okay. So that was a 90 with a run that didn't look overly aggressive.
Smooth,
yeah, maybe
smooth
it's just
and
smooth
safe.
Yeah, so maybe Tony G from a style perspective feeling. I'd love to because you can see the breakdowns there, right, Kenny? Where has that scored really well?
Just switch this over.
So Kenny's looking at the live document, which is available to pretty much just a selected audience. So a 90 there.
So
for
Jason Wu, 90 for line, 88 for angle.
Okay.
92 for style.
So line and the style there, helping him out.
So it'll be the throttle use, the steering inputs, how smooth he is, how fluid he can get through the course, while also trying to hit these outside zones. He's gone for an inner line approach there to try fill this outside zone here. You'll see those blue cones, and then out to the yellow barrier. Now this is the line adjustment where we want the cars to get nice and wide, and he has done that. And it's all about the setup through the what they're calling the setup zone into the last 3 outside clipping points, or clipping zones, sorry. There are no actual clips this weekend, it's all zones.
Yeah, maybe not quite so close there through the final zone there from Jason Wu, but still 2 very nice tidy runs. Again, we are running in reverse championship order, so these are the more experienced drivers. These are the, I guess, the heads of the table at the moment.
Might have been a bit preemptive there, 89.4, so he had been adjusted there.
Yeah. So
and then 89.6.
Yep. So we are, so Kenny and I are looking at a real-time table. Okay. So the adjustments get made after scores are sometimes locked in. So
your top 3 as it stands: Ryan Perry 95.7, Isaac Aldridge 92.6, Jason Wu with a 90.3, Jordan Richards, Blair Gilman in your top 5.
Solid. So that's the 2. So that's both the landmark Homes cars in the top 5, Blair and Isaac. They'll actually be quite happy about that because they're in different sides of the draw because they keep ending up battling each other.
So who's going to pip Ryan Perry for the top spot? There's only a handful of cars left to go, and we're starting to have a look at the front runners of the series championship.
Dan Edwards is a real threat, right? Dan Edwards, Core Civil, he's up next. So this is Dan Edwards, who was 2nd in the championship last year. I think he just missed out to Kesko, didn't he, at the Bay Park round? I think it was down to the final round.
Title fight between those two, essentially, across the year.
Yeah, and then you got Corbin Wilson still to come. You got the big old dog, Dean Young. I call him the veteran, right? He's a bit of, Dan Edwards rotated out to angle really quickly there, Kenny, but then it got kind of untidy, didn't it?
Aggressive snap, real aggressive snap, and then really aggressive throttle use through the outer zones too. So this is looking like a pretty good run here from the Core Civil Construction 180.
I think it's certainly his style
has he gone
too shallow?
He might have been a slight bit too shallow and not fed it. He set it up a little bit too early, but he can claw some points back through these last 3 zones.
He's not out as wide on the track as we saw Jason Wu. Just looking at what Jason Wu's line score was, I think Dan Edwards was aggressive, but he just didn't quite get the car to the right place.
I guess with the track, the line adjustment at outside zone 5, that's where a lot of points are being won or lost tonight. And it's all about filling that 5th outside zone really wide and long and getting that set up right through that transition zone.
There's our friend. There's Jordan Joyce on the screen. Hello, Jordan. He's up there signing autographs, kissing babies. He was actually the first person to drive a signing before. First time he's been early for anything ever. I think he might have thought it was my shout at the bar. I don't know. He'll probably make it my shout at the bar now for saying that. So Brendan will pay for that. Send the invoice to D1NZ, courtesy of Brendan for that. Here we go. Dan Edwards, what can he do this time? Oh, Kenny had 2 goes at it. What happened then? Where'd
can he hold it? No. Is he going to save it?
Don't get that pretty car there.
He's massaged it out. Can he claw something back out of it? Is he just going to throw down a spicy run for entertainment value? Because he's actually currently sitting P3 after that run with a 92.3. So he has pipped Jason Wu. Ryan Perry still at the top.
the car's body language is completely different. If you think about how smooth Jason's run was, it was this very long pedal, whereas Dan's car looks really lively, it's jumping around, it's kind of all over the place. So it'll be interesting to see, because it's two completely different schools of thought for the judges, right, in terms of the way the cars are behaving and the body language. Hey, let us know in live stream land what you think. I mean, are you a fan of kind of the snappy, jumpy kind of thing, or do you like the smooth kind of V8s in the BMW, just kind of cruising and flowing through? Let us know. There's no right or wrong, right? I just want to know what you guys think out there in live stream land in the Oversteer TV chat boxes. Get involved. Keep the chat positive as always.
So last few cars of the Pro Sport 235 series.
Blake Miles.
We're really heating things up here. Who's going to pit Ryan Perry for the top spot tonight? And of course, that means the Pro, with how we're tracking for time, that means the Pro Championship will be out. So
excellent.
Pro Championship qualifying up shortly, and a bit of housekeeping for the Pro drivers in the crowd watching. It's time to get those cars ready.
Was that a big long handbrake drag just then from Blake Miles? I think the judges didn't like that, right?
Well, it's about the setup, right? It's the initiation. You don't want to initiate on handbrake, but you want to use it to settle the car once you've initiated into the first outside zone.
Yeah, Blake Miles certainly has the talent, right? He qualified #1 at Taupo, so he's certainly got more than enough ability. Nice angle there from the Core Civil sponsor machine, Core Civil Construction. Last year, of course, were the sponsors of Case and Cody Pullenberry, who strongly rumoured to be considering a return, Kenny. Nothing is yet confirmed.
So Daniel Edwards backing up with a 90.2. So his best run was a 92.3. Good enough for third place. Not enough to pip Ryan Perry. Isaac Aldridge in P2. Jason Wu bumped down to 4th. Jordan Richards in 5th. And he's just been bumped because Blake Miles has just gone to P2 with a 94.4.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So we haven't seen anyone get really close to that run that Ryan Perry came out through, right? Like, Ryan Perry has been the only one to get right out onto the wall and just consistently maintain that same proximity. So let's see what Blake Miles is definitely a driver with the ability to do it. I think he can get there. I think it's just a case of putting it all together, just keeping it nice and smooth. But Perry certainly is throwing down a pretty worthy benchmark, Kenny, for our Pro Sport competitors here tonight.
And there will be some leniency, of course, to the 235 series drivers in terms of some of the criteria, but at the same time, they've really got to follow exactly what the Pro guys are going to be doing in a very short amount of time as we get ready for qualifying for the Pro Championship tonight. Friday night qualifying here at Go Media Stadium. It is round 3 of the D1NZ Championship, and Blake Miles certainly bouncing off the limit. And the one thing I love about these evening rounds, right, is you see the wastegate flames, you see the exhaust flames, you see all sorts of crazy stuff. Some of the guys also lighting up their cars.
Do you reckon you can actually toast a marshmallow over a wastegate or not? Have we ever tried that?
Is that a challenge?
Well, I'm just curious. I think, yeah, we should try it. Like, if you've got a skewer...
We just need a bit of number 8 wire and a few marshmallows.
I wouldn't want to eat it afterwards, but I
think
just
we
always
could organise
wondered.
it.
Yeah.
We just need a GoPro.
And we need someone who's willing to have a marshmallow fall down their wastegate pipe or catch on fire on the track. All right, Guy Maxwell, certainly a crowd favourite.
We once cooked sausages and potatoes on a VTEC, 2.2 VTEC.
That does not
It took
surprise me.
2.5 hours of driving on the manifold, but it worked, and we ate them. No,
sounds like the only fair and reasonable use for a Honda ever. All right, Guy Maxwell now out on track for the choice files. Guy Maxwell, of course, won round #1 with one of the wildest non-lifting full throttle runs that we've seen ever at Taupo Motorsport Park, and it looks like Guy's kind of eating that same angry sauce again, hasn't he? He's come out again and just throwing down.
Okay, so he's actually, just as you say that, he's actually gone real safe through the back section. He's really massaged the rear end of the car to stay on that line.
What happened to the cars?
And here comes the aggression again. He's just going to feed the throttle out to these last 2 outside zones. So this has been a refined, clean, aggressive drive from Guy Maxwell. He's dialed back that extra percent that he brought to...
Well, do you reckon Steph backhanded him? Like, got sick of just having a panel beat the car.
Did he get told off?
Yeah, just sick of you bending the cars, because we did see him break that car.
Guy Maxwell, P3, with a 93.7.
Yep. Yeah, because we saw him bend that car, right? And then he came out in the other car, and I think he broke that one, and now he's back in that car. So he's certainly testing the limits, is Mr. Maxwell. What is he driving? 113%.
Wow, okay, so provisional pole to Blake Miles with a 96. Ryan Parry has finally been taken off the top spot. Can Guy Maxwell, currently sitting in P3, he's on the line now, can he actually go out on his last run and try get that top spot from Blake Miles?
Has Blake Miles had the deductions come through yet, or is that locked in?
I think that's locked in because we've already had a couple of drivers.
Oh, it's broken.
Oh, wow.
It broke.
What is all that stuff? Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you mean about what you said earlier.
I don't really understand why we have smoke machines at the drifting. Like we have 52 smoke machines powered by V8s and like SR20s and 2Js and whatever else. I just don't really understand why we also have ones that make smoke from other stuff.
Maybe that smoke smells better.
Maybe.
For some people. Depending on what flavoured tyre you're into.
I know why. It's because it makes those Monster Energy signs look cooler.
I
That's
personally used to like, and this isn't just a bit of bias, I did enjoy the smell of a GT radial back in the day.
Oh. Actually, are the smoke machines part of the Monster Truck show? That's right, we got Monster. That's right, Monster Trucks. Okay. That's what they're there for. And that's what those things are there for too. Someone's going to run over those.
I did ask the question because I was chatting to Dan earlier in the day. He was driving the forklift on setup day. And I was just wondering, is that how high the monster trucks are going to drive over?
I wondered that? Well, that's what I wondered too. I wondered the same thing. I mean, my first thought was, well, has Kenny been driving? And that's how all those cars ended up there, because that's where you ended up parked last time you drove here as well. Here's Curtis Lilly for Friends Motorsport. Carter's Curtis Lilly coming off his best ever D1NZ result with a second at Taupo, and he looks like he's got that RB30 hooked up. Kenny, his camera setup in the front is really different to everyone else's, right? I think.
Yeah, that's something that you noticed in practice earlier this morning, and he was certainly one of the few guys that were throwing the car around in a specific manner, and he's sort of a little bit tighter on the line that he was running earlier this morning. So I feel like as the temp roll-off is dialed out of the track, the temperature's gone out of the track, we're heading into the evening a little bit more gripped up than perhaps where he was, and maybe he's going to send it a little bit harder in the next one.
Let's call that a bank run, right? That we know Curtis can get right out on the wall. We know that he's got plenty of power at his disposal. And one of the things we learned at the last round too is just how fast that car is, which really surprised everyone.
What we were sort of alluding to was there's only a handful of guys that really run an aggressive sort of camber setup in the front end of the car, right? So, and Curtis was one of those guys earlier today that we sort of took note of, and certainly a podium finisher at the last event at Taupo Motorsport Park. What has he got in the bag for us here on his second lap?
Well, he told me he was sick of sleeping with that trophy, so he needed a bigger and better one. So apparently that's what's happening. And also I'm not allowed to say anything mean about him, because apparently I was mean to him last time on the broadcast. So let's go, Curtis. Let's see what you can do here. Let's get that car out nice and wide with 2 to run here in the Pro Sport D1NZ qualifying. Pro Sport, of course, the 235 wide series. If you have just joined us, these are what we call our development drivers here in New Zealand, and our pros are up straight after this. And of course, many of our Finnish fans are tuned in because Lauri Heinonen is here for JDM Racing, and he is our very first qualifier in probably, I'd say, 10 minutes time. He just didn't get out to where it's like sort of sitting. It's like 3/4 of the way there.
The car's had quite an interesting. It's got a little bit of bounce into it, right? Like especially I noticed when it was coming through outside zone 2 on the entry, or after the entry, there was a little bit of a hump there that sort of exacerbated more by how the car was set up. So, yeah, interesting.
Oh, well, here we go. 2 to go. I reckon.
Curtis Lilly P7 89.3, and it was 88.1. So he's in the top 10.
Provisionally, Kenny, though, Blake Miles has locked in at 1, Ryan Parry at 2, Guy Maxwell at 3, Isaac Aldridge 4, Daniel Edwards 5, Jason Wu 6, Curtis Lilly 7, and Jordan Richards are your top 8 at the moment. So that is how they look. We have 24 cars. 24 cars. And 2 haven't locked in yet. So yeah, we're going to be running 26, 27 cars. I think we have had 1 advise out. So same sort of setup as Pro. And look who's lurking in the background. It is Fanger Dan, which means we're about to go Pro qualifying shortly. And I can see the Drift Fox just in behind that. And this is Kevin Ryan for his second pass. Now Kevin Ryan shut this down earlier and he didn't record a score.
They've taken a long time in the session. They're at the end of the session. It's taken a long time to get the car repaired, whatever it was. We will have Nick Boyle live in the pit lane tomorrow, giving us all the updates, as well as Stephen McIver from the launch zone.
Oh, good, Stephen's back. Oh, good, I don't have to run anywhere tomorrow, because that was quite tiring. Same thing again, Kenny, it's shut down.
Yeah, so that's a bit unfortunate.
No, it's good.
Still, a little bit of extra track time.
I feel like this happened at Taupo as well. This is what the car did at Taupo too. It just wouldn't hold a drift.
It's not the kind of track time you want when you're heading for a wall.
And that's actually what happened too. So you guys didn't get to see practice earlier. That's actually kind of what happened to Luke Fink as well. So Luke Fink actually had a wall incident earlier today as well, where he was out at angle and then his steering failed and he actually ended up going straight on to the wall. So it'd be interesting to see if, no doubt his crew will have that car back to 100% as best as it can be mechanically, but cosmetically it might look like it's carrying a bit of damage.
It's super interesting seeing, this is the shortest track of the season, Warren, only by about 150 metres.
What's the longest?
Will be Manfield,
yeah.
Which is from the start box through the rolling start. That's where the extra length comes out, but I think it's about 1.2 k's, the total length of the track. It's 700, just over 700 metres here at Mount Smart, and about 750, 800 at Bay Park.
I always like this game. Where are the Dean Young fans at in the chat box? There's always a few Dean Young loyalists out there. Oh, look at that from Dean Young, just on. Now that was what the judges asked for, Kenny, wasn't it? The bake and just straight into it. He was on the gas, rotated it out to angle. It's going to be interesting to see how he puts together the rest of this run. But Dean Young looking strong early on here. I feel bad calling him a wily old veteran now, but it kind of feels like when we watch this, I just feel like we're watching a guy who really is ready to go to pro, isn't he? He should be looking to make that step up. Dean Young, just always smooth, always consistent, always flying. Maybe he hasn't quite, he definitely didn't get out as close as, say, when Ryan Parry's the example we've been using, and Blake Miles.
A lot of guys are pushing the limit, right? The judges have asked for within 300 mil of the wall. If you're going to go further than that, you're running a lot of risk, because you're going to start, once you start tagging the wall, doing damage to the car, or upsetting the car balance as you're going around the circuit, that's when you actually start hurting yourself by trying to, put on a bit of a show. But of course, everyone here wants to put on a show and push the limits, especially the guys in the Pro Championship, and it's going to be super interesting to see how some of those more seasoned veterans come out and what they can do in their high horsepower grip monsters.
Well, I'm going to be really honest. I genuinely thought we would have had like a wall impact now in pro sport, right?
Sparks off the. You want spicy?
I didn't say get closer to the wall, right? So I think he's just bent his exhaust.
Well, he didn't go close to the wall at the start. He went close to the tarmac. He just bounced off on the entry.
Let's just see what it does, Kenny. Has he done enough, Kenny? I think it's a top 6, but I don't think it's number 1.
Well, he's certainly improved on that. I think he's improved on the aggression, certainly off the entry. I think Benko Pruin would have loved seeing the sparks flying as the car bottomed out on the entry hump and then onto the wall. That was it's a shame we can't just pop up a quick replay of that, because that was awesome to see.
There's a lot of...
So Blake Miles still P1, Ryan Parry in P2, Guy Maxwell P3, Isaac Aldridge P4, Daniel Edwards in P5. Just awaiting the scores here for Dean Young, and Dean Young hovering in the...
straight to the drift box. So this is our number 1 in points at the moment in the Pro Sport class. The Pro Wear backed 350Z LT4 motor underneath the model from the Chevrolet family. It definitely doesn't have the speed that Dean Young and some of the others have had. It's looking very laboured, Kenny. Is that the right phrase, laboured?
Well, sometimes smooth is good, right? But
well, what was good, Jason?
Can it translate?
Number 44 on his roof, of course, his number from his mini stock days. Corbin Wilson certainly held more than a handful checkered flags behind the wheel of a mini stock.
So you talk about the speed of the cars. Something I noticed in practice was a sharp difference in some of the guys in the way their earlier setups earlier in the day, and just how much legs guys were getting out of first, second, third gear. fourth gear. Some of these guys still run a dog box, some of them run sequential, but we were talking about diff ratio, right? Just how much what we call legs in the car, in each gear, how much wheel spin or travel are we going to get out of each gear, and in getting that set up right for a little tight, like I say, it's the shortest track of the season, but it requires a lot of throttle, and there's a lot of grip out there too. So much rubber gets laid down by the time the tandems happen tomorrow, so it's all about getting that ratio right. A lot of the pro guys run a quick change, something from Speedway, of course, is the quick change winters differential, which is essentially just two big gear sets that can be changed out and completely change the ratio, which makes the car a lot more drivable on these shorter tracks, or no matter which track they go to across the season.
Yeah, that customization, of course, so important, as all the drivers doing things like manipulating tyre pressures, shock settings, diffs, gears, etc. So let's see what the Drift Fox can do here. He doesn't take kindly to generally not performing to his standards, Corbin Wilson. Holds himself to a very high standard. He will have a lot of passionate fans tuned in.
I think he's stepping up on entry there, so let's see if he can sort of pick up the pace a little bit. Oh, no, fixed him.
Oh, what's
sorry, cool.
Is that wheels facing... Does that wheel look a bit weird at the back?
Oh,
yeah, like the wheel's facing the wrong way. Yeah, it's broken in the back, yeah.
So
I thought I saw that. It's broken something in the rear
arm.
Yeah. There we go. Look at the drone just straight in there. Just pick that up straight away, and Corbin will be So I wonder if that maybe impacted the speed as well.
Yeah, perhaps there was actually a problem there in the first run, and it's just become evident now.
So that is our Pro Sport qualifying done, I believe. I don't think we have any more... so that is Pro Sport qualifying done as far as I'm aware. We've got a couple of mechanicals, so Kurt Blackie, it looks like, and Braden Mayer will do mechanicals. So Kurt Blackie and Braden Mayer to do mechanicals, and then we are into qualifying for the pros. Kenny and I are going to grab some water, and we'll be back with Lauri Heinonen as the first qualifying pass of the pros. So these are a couple of mechanicals. We'll just let you guys watch this and listen to the sounds of the engines, and we're back with Lauri Heinonen. Alrighty, so that was a mechanical run there for Kurt Blackie, Braden Mayer, and both cars having a few issues. So while we do a clean-up on the track before we get underway with qualifying, it is time to take a look at a rundown of the track from our judges' perspective. And this is what the drivers are asked to do.
Round 3 of the 2025 D1NZ Drifting Championship brings us to Auckland City, Go Media Stadium at Mount Smart for the first 2 concrete jungle tracks on the calendar and our second standing start of the season. The lead line will be in the left lane out of the start box, and it is the shortest track the drivers will run this year. A flat layout lined with concrete walls, an outside zone to start, and there will be penalties for excessive handbrake use. It's a short dab to settle the car after the initiation, and that is what the judges are looking for. This layout this year is all about a much wider line, changing the approach into certain areas. 8 outside zones with no inside clips make up the total layout. Time now to ride along with a virtual lap of the course thanks to Team Swarm on the simulator with D1NZ chase judge Benkai Brewer.
Yeah, righty, so we're going to take off the line, we're going to wheel spin into first, into second, into third, and then grip up. Nice flick initiation. We're then going to fill the wall. See how we're going for a nice smooth arc now. Here's where it gets different. We're going for a full outer zone, into a switch in the middle, into another full outer zone. So you'll notice there are no inner clips on this layout. Through here is what we call the setup zone. So to come out of there, we're going to switch really nice out of that zone. We're going to set power up through here and we're going to set up for the next zone, yeah? So we'll call that a setup zone in there. There's no touch and go, no zones. This is a full zone here to fill, and then out to the wall, nice and hard to fill that zone again.
Our judges lineup for the weekend will see former D1NZ Pro driver Matt Kwok back in the hot seat, scoring for line and our lead runs for the event with 100 points on offer. Benkai Brewer from Drift Japan brings over 25 years experience in the sport and will be keeping a keen eye on angle as well as 100 points to work with as our chase judge for the weekend. Our final judge for round 3 is Tony Gallagher with plenty of sideways experience in the New Zealand Speedway circuit with a 50-50 point split for style, and that will be your track preview and judges lineup for round 3 of the 2025 D1NZ Drifting Championship Series. The 2025 D1NZ Championship brings together new elements and a new lineup of changes for the competition format. Each driver is scored on line, angle and style by 3 judging officials, with each judge given 100 points to play with all 3 scores now averaged across the 3 judges. Qualifying runs are now also back-to-back to keep the cars warm and on consistent track conditions. After qualifying, our drivers are then lined up in a seated battle tree, ready for door-to-door competition. Drivers need to set or better their qualifying performance in the lead while maintaining the scoring criteria for each event. The chase driver's objective is to match or better the lead car's performance while trying to maintain close proximity. Our tandem elimination system has changed for 2025 with new scoring elements. Each official will now split their points across 3 battle scoring criteria, where drivers need to set both a lead and chase run, now scored out of 100. Each judge will now only score either lead, chase or style, with 100 points available for each official. The highest scoring drivers will then advance into the next round, battling through a top 16, top 8 and a semi-final top 4 before we battle for the final spots on the podium.
All right, so that's a rundown of how things are going to go here at Mount Smart for round 3 of the D1NZ National Drifting Championship, and hopefully you are ready to get the phones out and get them up for some exciting qualifying action here underneath the lights. All the drivers putting in that little bit of extra effort. They've blinged up the cars. There'll be plenty going on, and there'll be of course those big old wastegate flames. So there you guys are in the crowd. Hello up there in the crowd. It looks like, is that Isaac up there or Curtis? Hello guys, how are you? There's Jaden up there. Jaden, you're a big tall man, I can see you there. You could basically just stand up and see basically if you're in the pits anyway. And hello team, there we are, somebody in a, hi, wave if you're on the screen. Have a look at the big screen, it's right there we are sir, well done. Except if you're on parole or anything and you're not supposed to be here. Any of you supposed to be at home? The guy in the white, he's supposed to be at home. He's clearly not supposed to be here. There's him and 4 girls. How did that happen? There he is, he's having a great night. Oh, hello there. Hello there on the ground. Are you looking for? Oh, hello to all the Finnish fans. Hello, Finnish fans out there in the live stream chat box. Oh, the thinking man pose. How good is that? The thinking man. Oh, looking intelligent there, boys. Anyone got a mana wave? Give me a solid mana wave. Who's got a mana wave? Somebody give me a mana wave. Oh, Sam West. West the pest. There he is, flexing. Show me exactly how big Kurt Blackie's calves are. How big are Kurt Blackie's calves? Oh, that hurt. Oh, somebody. Oh, we got the trucker's horn. Yep. Boys been out on site. Yep, had about 17 beers already. Is that Manu Vatuvai? No, just a very good beard. No, just a very good beard. Oh, hello, sir. That's you. You're on TV. Linky, where's the link? Well, there's Rob from Linky See You. Hi, Rob. How are you? Linky See You. Long-time supporters of D1NZ. He's who's it? What are you doing, Rob? Hi, Rob. Hi, Rob. Wave. Hi, Rob. Wave. Oh no. Yeah, that's you, Rob. Your name is Rob. Hello, my name is Rob. Hello. The guy in the white hoodie knows he's on TV. He's embarrassed. Are you ready, Mr. Heinonen? Because the Finnish fans, look at the Finnish. What happened to the chat box? It turned into Finnish flags.
The Finnish flags are flying.
If you guys seriously, kiss cam, kiss cam, kiss cam, kiss cam, kiss cam, kiss cam, kiss cam. Do it, do it, do it, do it. Kiss cam, do it, do it, do it. Hey! All right, give me another one. Give me another one. Find someone else. Camera, random. No, not gently pan, gently pan, gently pan, gently pan. Where are we stopping? Mum and Dad, Mum and Dad, Mum and Dad, come on. You're on the screen, you're on the screen, the screen, the screen, the screen. Yes, someone. You two ladies, that'll do, you two. Isaac's out, Isaac is out, he's running away.
We'll settle for a moment.
Oh, there we go. How about you guys? How about you guys? No? What about for free tickets for tomorrow? No? No? 1 beer, 2 beers, no? 3 beers. 4, 12, 12 beers. 12 beers? He's thinking about it. The guy in the Pit Vipers. There's our judges up there. Tony and Mac, go. Tony and Mac, you guys. Tony and Mac, go. Do it, do it, do it. Where are we?
Oh, so there's the judge. That's
We've gone into space.
That is how dark it is in the judges' box. We might have to get some lighting for tomorrow night. So,
are you sure that that's actually in the judges' box?
That is the judges' box, I can assure you.
Are we going to get another kiss cam? There we are, Monowave.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. What about the kiss? What about the kiss? What about the kiss cam? Kiss cam? Oh, all right. Lauri Heinonen out on track. The Finnish legend. The Finnish legend is on the track. Let's see what he does here. He's throwing down all weekend. Lauri Heinonen straight out, straight wide, straight on the gas. The Finnish flags are flying in the chat box. The Finnish fans have staged a takeover of your channel, Kenny. And Lauri Heinonen qualifying first here. I can't even. This would have very rarely ever happened to him. The man's usually at the other end of the championship, right along the wall. Lauri Heinonen.
You want to talk about fantastic runs? That was fantastic, straight out of the box for the first Pro Championship drift car on track tonight for qualifying on the big 265 semi-slicks. And Lauri Heinonen from Finland, Drift Masters champion last year, has come all the way to New Zealand and set a blinder of a run, and he was perfect through outside zone 5. So that is the crucial point that the judges have been super hard on tonight so far, and already a 98.3 on the board for Lauri Heinonen. He is going to be the man to beat here tonight.
Let's just watch. Let's just watch the man in action.
There to try settle the car. He's smooth on the approach to get to outside zone 5, but
I'm just enjoying watching.
I'm just not sure if he brought the aggression through their back section, but sticks on the angle through the end. Does he back it up? Does he go one further than what he's already put down? JDM Racing in the 180 SX, the twin turbo V8.
Yeah, that's the 900 horsepower one, right?
One for the V8 fans.
I think I'm going to try this because Lauri tried to teach me this morning.
It's got a spoolie boy attached to it.
Yeah,
it's best of both worlds, right?
Yeah, it goes Juma Lauta, which translates, I believe, to goddamn. Juma Lauta.
A 98 and a 96. So Lauri Heinonen, you want to talk about...
Well, that's a way to throw down, isn't it?
You want to talk about throwing down on the first lap in qualifying for the Pro Championship. That is it right there. That is the man to beat right now.
How do you respond to that? I mean, Matty J will, because Matty J in the Psycho 2JZ has returned to D1NZ with a point to prove. He's now stepped up to the pro class, but he is nowhere near as wide as he needed to be there. Lauri Heinonen has just set that benchmark so high, so early. Yeah, my apologies if I did say the Finnish word incorrectly, Jumalauta. Hopefully that is what translates to, Lauri said it was kind of like goddamn, I think, is how it translates. It's what a Finnish driver would say to another Finnish driver after a solid effort behind the wheel. Matty J banks a score there. MCA Fabrications on board with him.
Qualifying score sheet. Oh, yeah. There we go. All right, so Matty J, a 90. We'll just have to wait.
Are we so we're starting? We're just kicking off with 90s, right? Is this
87.6?
How many drivers did we have in the 90s last time? It was 12, wasn't it? I think it was 12 drivers over 90 last round.
Well, there's a 98, a 98, and a 99 from the three judges.
Oh, wow.
For Lauri Heinonen. Second pass now for Matty J.
I feel like we're going to see lots more Finnish words sort of appear in the chat box that we should learn. Maybe some words of encouragement. I'd like to, how do you say drive it harder? If you're a Finnish fan tuned in, how do we encourage Lauri in his native tongue? Because I'm sure you will appreciate that. As Matty J runs right along the wall there, Kenny. Nice and wide there, and a great finish to the run there from Matty J.
So his first run was an 87.6. Does he improve on that?
Yeah, should go up a little bit, I think. Should go up.
Straight away, already seeing some really solid driving for the first couple of guys out in the session.
Let's try another one as well. If you speak Finnish, how do you say kick the ball in Finnish? Kick the ball in Finnish.
So now this is a big one, Warren.
All right, Keisuke Nagashima steps up from pro. This is the defending pro sport champion. He has 400 horsepower, and he is incredibly different to the rest of the field. Can you simply because he is on a 205 tyre. So not a 265, 205, and he is fast, he is flowing, he is in a very different little chassis compared to everyone else. So this in itself is quite exciting just to watch. And he's got that traditional Japanese look going on there too, doesn't he, Kenny?
SR20 powered AE86, probably one of the oldest chassis competing in D1NZ. And for the 86 fans around the world, this will be one to watch.
The cult icon, isn't it? It's the cult icon made famous by the DK Hachi Tsuchiya-san.
Out to the wall.
It's nice. It's nice for Keisuke.
Keisuke Nagashima, of course, yeah, our Pro Sport champion. So he's traded in the 235 radials for semi-slick rubber, but of course only running a 205 because there was some banter in pit lane about not being able to fit 265 on the car.
Well, he did tell you. He told you, I think, because I think the initial video that was posted said he was testing 265s.
Yeah, well, that was a typo.
And he did kind of say, look, I can't even fit that on the car. It wouldn't go anywhere. But he is actually on the same tyre and compound though, right, as the other guys. So it's just a narrower tyre, but with a slightly lighter chassis and a very capable power plant.
Short wheelbase, light chassis, quick, nimble little car. Even though it's only 400 horsepower, he's going to be actually a challenge in the battles tomorrow.
Yeah, because he's just going to be able to sit there, isn't he, in the pocket, and then chasing that car is going to be quite different to chasing anything else. So great to see Keisuke, the Pro Sport champion, stepping up into Pro as he comes around UDC. Nice tidy run here from Keisuke. The car just looks great out on track there. Oh, got washy there, got really washy for Keisuke. Doing a lot of wheel work doing a lot of wheel work in the car there. Maybe he gave himself a little fright at the end, but
it was a bit of a small recovery effort to keep it out of the wall and managed to fill those last two outer zones quite well. So Keisuke Nagashima currently sitting in P2 with an 88. I'll await the second score to come on the board.
All right, next up is Stocky, Drift Jesus. Drift Jesus, of course. Alex Griffin, also out of the RHP stable. This is the only Barra motor we've ever had drift, right? Have we ever had another Barra one in D1?
Not the only Barra, I don't think. There's been a few.
Oh well, that's a way to kick things off. Stocky, get right out on the wall there. I feel like last time Stocky was here too, he was really good in qualifying, really strong. Sort of was a top 8 type driver. He seems to like these types of circuits, a bit like Bay Park, just comes alive, sort of suits his driving style. Definitely see, as we've stepped up to the pro class, the drivers just on that grippier tyre with the extra power, they're able to get wider as they sweep around that Drift Japan Tours section there, Kenny. They're not obviously running over the repaired section, but they are getting wider than our pro sports were. So again, I think if we look back at our pro sports, we what do we have, a 96, wasn't it, to qualify as P1 in pro sports? A very solid effort. And already we're up into the high 90s if you want to qualify P1, with the one and only Lauri Heinonen setting the benchmark so high at 98.3.
So Keisuke Nagashima, P2 with an 88. His second run was 82.2, so he didn't back it up. Matty J in P3 with an 87.6. His second best run was a 75. Alex Griffin, P4, 82.9.
Do you know what I've just realised? Scotty Dinsdale is not here. I'm sure somebody agreed to sponsor Scotty D into a round.
I think it was Bay. I think you were angling at Bay Park.
Oh, it was a Bay Park, was it? Okay. All right. Stocky with the limiter there, feeds it some right foot, gets back on the gas, bags up those rear tyres. Do we know what tyre Stocky's on? It's RHP, so what are they on? Are they on Zestino, isn't it?
The Zestino tyre? The RHP garage.
Yep. So D1NZ, of course, this year running the affiliated control tyre brands. 5 approved tyres available, 5 approved tyre brands available to drivers. Stocky, good to see him back doing the good work behind the wheel there. I was going to say doing God's work, well, being Drift Jesus.
I bumped into him earlier today when we were looking at the sinkhole incident, and
right.
Yeah, he's really stoked to be able to be back behind the wheel. Got the helmet back on. He's really loving it.
Right.
He had the itch, and he needed to get back in the car.
Ah, right. Okay. Oh, look, my apologies. A couple of people just pointed out, of course, we did have Jason Fearon here during the period while
the Barra Wags.
The Barra Wags.
Yeah, I think John Atwood, based out of the north. I think John Atwood Customs. I think that L-Dog ran a Barra as well.
Okay. So there's a few of them. They're just not as common as the LSs or the 2Js.
Well, they make great power, right?
Yes.
But I guess it's the aftermarket support and who actually wants to dive in and to run one into the series. Yeah, it's an interesting choice.
Well, it's just this has been debated for years, right? Fangadan used to say, like, there's an easy way to do things, and then there was kind of the hard way to do it, and he did it, So
I think this is a mechanical test lap here for
Sean
the Champ Vision
Potros
machine.
And they've actually got new Champ Vision Sean Potros collab merch, which is pretty cool. So Champ Vision on board with Sean Potros, and well, that's a good way to do a mechanical, isn't it? Just fully send your tyres to Never Land. How high is the wheel speed from Potros? It's just baking those tyres. Has anyone been that smoky so far? I don't think so. That is a thick blanket of white smoke coming out the back of the car.
Bouncing off the limiter sounds fantastic. It's thunder here at Go Media Stadium for Sean Potros.
The silly part is that was a mechanical lap. Like that was a mechanical test lap. That wasn't as qualifying.
I think that's called taking advantage of what's in front of you, because those mechanical test laps can sometimes be super crucial up your sleeve in terms of getting that important track time, especially if you've had a mechanical issue during the day. You've missed out on those practice sessions. You've sometimes got to go hard and see what the car can do.
Well, speaking of returning stars, that is one of the Jenkins brothers with the TM Electrical support on board, bringing us both the Jenkins for this round. 856 is Troy, 857 is Ben, I think is the way that it works. And the yellow's Ben and orange is Troy, is that right? Or is it the other way around? Can you remember?
I
told them that they weren't allowed to tell us that because of we're both colourblind.
I used to go off the race numbers.
Yeah, one's got the number on the windscreen, one doesn't. I did notice that in the pits earlier, so we'll soon find out which of the drivers it is. I think that might be... Is that Troy, is it? Troy, I think, is black helmet and Ben's white. Does it tell you does it tell us in the qualifying sheet, Kenny, who we're expecting? Or I guess they can just roll up, can't they? returning Jenkins on the track. This is the yellow livery car, so I will refer back to my earlier notes, which will tell me the answer to this question, Kenny.
So we've got dramas here for Ben Jenkins. Not quite coming together on the first lap here for
Ben. Ben is the yellow, Troy is the orange. So Ben is yellow, Troy is orange, and it should be Troy is 856, Ben is 857. So Ben's car doesn't have the number on the window. That is Ben. Did he hit that car? Or was that?
You don't quite see the where he crossed it up.
Couple of 2Js.
So Lauri Heinonen obviously laying down the challenge here this evening for qualifying. As we take a look at some of the cones that need to be collected and reinstated into position. Launchmaster Willie.
The one and only Launchmaster Willie, world famous in New Zealand. The greatest dance moves, rumour has it, of any Launchmaster anywhere in the world. He's got the mana wave. I tell you what, if you can see Willie, give Willie a mana wave now. Throw a mana wave back at Willie. If you can see Willie, throw a mana wave back at Willie. He is a legend in the sport. He's at every event. I think the man he basically says, there's an event, I'm turning up. What can I do? And he rides in.
He's a petrol head through and through.
He is, yeah. He's a great man. Very entertaining man, always has a yarn or two. So here we go with Ben Jenkins for second class.
There you see the example of that later handbrake as compared to what we saw on the Pro Sport guys. GT86 2JZ, big power under the bonnet for Ben Jenkins. A little bit of dab of the left foot brake as you see the front brake light strip illuminating on the front of the car. Not quite, perhaps getting out to that out of line that we were looking for. The wastegate out the bonnet too. Love seeing the flame spitting action in the evenings.
Yeah, maybe we will try and convince the Jenkins to try and toast the marshmallow over the wastegate pipe. See if we can make it happen at Bay Park. So if you have just joined us because you've been at work, Lauri Heinonen came out first and threw down a 98.3. Yeah, welcome to New Zealand.
If you are watching on the live stream, you can jot back and see the run, of course.
So you can jump backwards and forwards?
Jump backwards and forwards, and of course if you're here at the track as well, you can whip out your mobile phone and join in the live stream action as well.
And if you're a subscriber, you can join us in the chat section for informative and witty banter amongst the drift community. And I'm not being sarcastic at all. I could do that, right? It's late on a Friday. Kenny and I haven't been fed. The only thing we've had today is muesli bars and Monster energy drinks. And that might result in some weird things going on later. Not that there's anything wrong with Monster Energy or anything like that. It doesn't make for a great nutritious meal. So Lauri Heinonen is in P1. Kenny, who are 2 and 3 at the moment? Oh, Kenny's just attending to some administrative matters at the moment. Joys of also being behind Oversteer TV, which is our YouTube live stream partner, I think. Now, have we got a read? No, so that is Troy now, and that got really ugly really fast there for Troy. And I'd say that might almost be close to a 0 the way that car came back the opposite way out of drift there. Just for fun, because it's always interesting to know who people would love to see competing here. Tell us who you'd love to see behind the wheel of the JDM machine for round 4 at Manfield. First of all, maybe research where Manfield is, and it is obviously in New Zealand, and what sort of track it is. And then tell us who the driver would be that you think would be best suited to being behind the wheel of a 900 horsepower 180SX.
It's been awesome having the international wildcards this season, thanks to JDM Racing for opening up those opportunities as well. Speaking of which, Luke Fink, obviously, he's yet to come out, but he had a moment in practice earlier today with the wall, and it was a rare occurrence actually for him to be in that sort of position.
Well, power steering failed. I was actually standing on the wall when it happened, so he was out on angle, and the power steering failed.
So I do wonder if they've fixed the car and he's ready to rock. Of course, leading the championship.
Yeah, and looking to cement a championship is a very, without disrespecting the fact that Troy's out on track driving, it's a different Luke Fink this year. He looks like he is certainly here and certainly focused on a title rather than, in the past Luke's kind of been here as a bit more of the kind of entertainer, larrikin type guy. And he maybe hasn't had that laser focus, but certainly here to win and do what it takes this year. As we watch Troy Jenkins, great to see the team electrical 2JZ 86s back out on track. Both those cars run Borg Warner turbos. They are on sequential gearboxes, each of them immaculately prepared and well put together by the Team Jenkins Motorsport boys and their loyal group of supporters. So thank you to Team Electrical for bringing the boys back for this round. And you've got to imagine, Kenny, you'll also see them now at Bay Park as well, having come to the concrete jungle to play and getting a taste of competition drifting again here at D1NZ.
So we've had some suggestions for the wildcard at Manfield. We've got Adam LZ, we've got Chelsea Denofa.
Right.
Naoki.
Nakamura, yep.
James the Machine D.
I think James Dean comes up all the time, right? But I don't know that you can even get a booking in James. It's like trying. This will set off something, but it's like trying to book Mad Mike, right? Like you've got to book Mike almost a year in advance just to even get a look at his calendar. He's got so much going on. James Dean is a bit the same. As we watch Johnny Latham from Christchurch, the Doherty-sponsored BMW with that is a Toyota NASCAR motor underneath the bottom.
Yeah, with a little bit of nitrous juice as well. It's great to see him back out after the mechanical dramas that he had at Tokyo Motorsport Park for round 1 and 2. Now, in terms of wildcards, he's actually kind of a bit of a wildcard, really. Based out of the South Island. Well,
that's a nice angle. Look at that from Johnny Latham. That is easily the best we've seen Johnny drive.
Bouncing off the limiter. Check out the flames spitting out of the NASCAR TRD V8 powered BMW, and that's certainly one of the cars that's keeping on my radar, because I was wondering how things went. He's been on the dyno after round 1 and 2, resetting the car back up after what they've learnt at Topol Motorsport Park, so it is a bit of a beast to tame. But have they got the setup right here this weekend for round 3 at Mount Smart on the shortest track of the season?
Hasn't it? It's got a shot of NOS in it too.
It's got a shot of NOS,
shot of nitrous in it to keep it. Yeah.
So it's certainly one of the cars that I've been keeping an eye on this season, because I feel like he's going to be a Kiwi wildcard, a South Island wildcard, if you will, that could upset the apple cart for some guys.
Well, sorry, not Bape. We're at Mount Smart. Go Media Mount Smart is a track that does tend to produce those kind of. It's not fair to call them upset results, but it's not kind of how you think things are going to play out, because the tree often ends up looking so differently here, and it's just that one little mistake can send you into the wall. And God, Johnny looks like Johnny looks real on. Well, he's looking the best, definitely the best I've ever seen him drive. He just looks really smooth and controlled, and we saw earlier that some of these smoother, more controlled flowing runs were rewarded really well by the judges.
A few little dabs of the left foot there, stacks on the angle through, off outside zone 5 through the setup zone, plenty of throttle. Can Johnny Latham put a big score down on the board and try and pit Lauri Heinonen for P1?
It's got that wall proximity and it's just smooth and controlled. It looks nice to me.
That car is a monster. TRD NASCAR V8 with nitrous in the BMW chassis as well. It's a weapon.
So there's a couple of questions just around how long did tyres kind of last for coming through, just being messaged to me. So basically you get 2 laps. The tyres are done. Right, there's
definitely in the pro class.
On these shorter tracks.
Pro sport boys, depending on the setups, you might get 4, but depending on a lot of things.
Yeah. Or Johnny Latham straight into P2 there, is it?
P2 with a 92.9 and 89.1.
Nice.
So Johnny Latham flying the Kiwi flag and the South Island flag, based out of Christchurch. I think originally from Nelson. He used to campaign the FD V8. It was a FD RX-7, the purple one.
Yes, and then changed over and purpose-built this car. Really curious to see how this run goes for young Braden Mayer. If you're not familiar with Braden Mayer, wasn't really on anyone's radar until Mad Mike Summerbash last year, and then just came out of nowhere, ended up in second place. But he's had a pretty rough evening so far. His mechanical run before didn't go overly well, so let's hope that he can hang this one together. He is a great young guy. He's an ex-rep rugby player, and he looks like he's doing a pretty good job here, Kenny, getting out to those outer zones just on his first qualifying pass here as he makes his first foray into pro drifting. Definitely not as high up the track as some of the other drivers have been, but I think this is a confidence builder for Braden. That's what this feels like to me. Let's just get out there, let's get a lap together, let's just find out where we are setup-wise, and then can come back and really attack it next time around.
So not a bad run there from Braden Mayer.
Yeah, so we're moving through, so we're in reverse order for qualifying. So this is reverse championship order. So the drivers you've seen so far are either new to the series or maybe Taupo didn't quite go their way. And obviously the current series leaders will be the last cars to run tonight. And as we saw earlier, it was solid performances from those more experienced drivers. It's kind of weird just watching Fanga's car just lurking in the background there, isn't it? Just sitting there, because he'll be reasonably late in the order as well. So normally we would try and run the scores live through the TV broadcast on Oversteer TV. We're just not quite able to do that at the moment. We're just a little bit restricted on what we can and can't do in terms of how many things are connected to what at any particular time. So we try and give you the scores as best we can after this. We'll run through the tree as it stands at the moment for you.
Pretty good run here from Braden Mayer, really feeding the throttle.
Yeah, just some questions coming in around tickets for tomorrow. We are full house tomorrow, Kenny.
If you're,
right?
I feel lucky. You could try. There might be a few odd tickets left because of the different way that the pass is set up, but essentially it's sold out because we released a small number of extra tickets for tomorrow, the day before, which was what, 48 hours or 24 hours before, and they pretty much went within a couple of hours. So yeah, if you're lucky, there might be an extra weekend pass or something floating about, or
basically
you can try your luck, but it's sold out.
Yeah, jump on Ticketek, give it a go. I definitely wouldn't be turning up tomorrow expecting to grab a gate sale. Definitely do it via Ticketek.
Stay home and watch the live stream.
Yeah, if there's tickets available, then they will be on. Now, let's have a look here. So we've got Lauri Heinonen on 98.3, Johnny Latham 92.9, Ben Jenkins in third 90.2, Kasuki Nagashima 88, Matty J 87.6, Alex Griffin 82.9, Braden Mayer 81.5, and Troy Jenkins 79. So Lauri Heinonen setting a high bar with the 98.3, and then next closest to him is Johnny Latham 92.9. What just came off there? Was that the rear guard?
That's the front guard. Front right guard's just flown off the car.
Somebody forgot to cable tie that on. Somebody in the RHP crew will be getting a talking to after this.
Has the wheel eaten it?
Maybe
coming up over the bump off the entry.
Clayton Daly's another one of these guys who loves these tracks, doesn't he? He just loves these little short tracks. He loves getting on the gas. He's an aggressive driver. He's one of my favourites because he's just always happy. I call him Guy Smiley because he's just... No, shut that down.
He shut it down.
He shut that down,
He's seen his guard. I did wonder if he was just going to full send over it.
Well, did he complete the section before he shut it down?
Yeah, I think that was a bit awkward to finish there, so...
We would have, he would have run over that and sent him to the wall.
Because of the debris laying out there, but that's of his own doing, unfortunately, from the team.
Right, so...
Who's in charge of the guard?
Well, I'm going to blame...
Who was in charge of putting that guard on?
I'm going to blame Tash. Natasha Daly, that was your job. You had one job. You should have cable tied the guard up better. So I'm blaming Tash. And she's going to tell me it was Mitch's fault because there's another Daly. There's another Daly drifter by them. Mitch apparently is better than Aidan or Clayton, he told me. Also got a much better moustache. And he's the youngest brother. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they score that because I feel like Clayton shut that down. So that can only really be a 3, can't it? Because it's an incomplete. I don't think he got to the end of the zone.
There it is, ghost point for Clayton Daly. So he's bottom of the scoreboards. That's a bit unfortunate because that run was not too bad initially.
Yeah. So that is, so that's not, yeah, so we do have 2 Supras in the field. Jeremy Slamet campaigns the other one.
Although, at first glance, you probably don't realise that Jerry Slamet's car is a Supra.
No, because it's got the 86 front on it.
Yeah. coming off the start line, and then once it's entered into the section, you say, "Oh, I think the scrub's gone all sorts of wrong here." For
Yeah, what's the motor? That's an LSX motor, isn't it? LSX motor, I think.
in the Clayton machine.
Yeah, LSX 427, I think it is. Yeah, supercharged. Yeah, and as Seaton likes to tell me to point out to Clayton each time, the only reason that Clayton is driving that car is because he's too scared to drive the Mustang. So Seaton, of course, is the team principal for RHP.
It would be cool to see the Mustang back out in action.
Well, I'm still campaigning for Seaton to drive in Pro Sport at Bay Park. I haven't quite got there yet, but we're trying. Justin Patterson, JP for MTF in the S15. Plenty of wheel spin off the line there, cracks it out to angle. Justin Patterson. Oh, and Justin Patterson, nice along the wall there, Ken. If he can hold this out, Justin Patterson's on a pretty solid run here. He filled up that zone, got out wide to that wall pretty nicely there. Looking pretty smooth here.
What he's using though, look at the front line.
Settling it down.
He's just dragging the left foot brake to do it. So he's got another run up his sleeve to try and rectify that if he's got a spotter watching on.
He's just tagging the wall. He's tagging the wall
again. Stacks on the lock. He's not afraid of the lock stops, this guy.
Isn't that
Justin Patterson in his debut championship season?
Isn't that what he did at Bay Park to his other car?
The MTF machine is just swinging.
I think
what's going to hurt him though
the left foot
is the left foot to get to that line that he was on.
Right. So the question will be, do the judges see it as effectively he's almost just got his foot sitting on the brake and it's not impacting the speed, or has he choked up the speed of the car? Now the reason that that's become a factor is the judges were very clear in that they want a fluid chaseable run, so they want the cars maintaining maximum speed to allow the chase car to also do the same without feeling like they're being impeded. So that will be in the eyes of the three wise men, how they see that run.
Of course, if you're looking at the benchmark that was set, that 98.3 for Lauri Heinonen, his throttle use, if you go back and watch the run, if you're on the live stream, you can flick on back and watch his run, and you're trying to compare it where the scoring is coming through for these first runners. Take a look at the throttle use and where the position of the car actually is and how he's approaching that line that the judges are asking for.
Let's have a look at this. So how's he got out there? So no, I don't. Oh yeah.
So if I'm a super lenient judge, that would be a few sharp jabs. Okay, so now coming through this last section from outside zone 4 to 5, look how long he was trailing that brake force. So you'll see the front light strip on top of the car indicating the left foot brake and just how much left foot was being applied there to get the car there. So you'll see there a huge moment for him tag up on the concrete wall, and great to have that replay action there as the machine is fired up again.
I don't think Justin will be unhappy though, right? We sort of spoke to... So Justin said to me that his initial claim to fame was he wanted to be the oldest driver in D1, which I think he's won that so far. Let's see what he does. So he's wide again, he's wide.
He's making use of the front block in this car.
So there's the dab you were talking about, Kenny. So
Justin Patterson.
Let's just see what he does here, because this is where you said he was hard on it before. So there is more of a dabbing style this time. Yeah, so it's more...
He's still using it, and I think...
Using it, dabbing it more than he was. Yeah.
He's shot off a little bit earlier on that outside zone as well, so really, really great full throttle committed runs here, but I feel like the left foot brake is just going to hurt him.
Yeah, so there is a difference, I guess. Yeah, this is what there is a difference in the judge's eyes again between kind of almost just resting the foot on the brake and using it to settle the car, and actually choking the car up and kind of slowing down, and that's on them to try and work out where that fine line is. We kind of are just watching what's going on with the lights on the front of the cars, trying to pick it up off the body language, but at the end of the day, we're just a couple of guys with headsets on, just talking away. Kenny, what is that? Where's that music coming from? Is it an ad or something? Or well, what was that? Was that just messages from another planet or something? All right, here we go. Sean Potros, Champ Vision collab with Sean Potros, now on the Tri-Ace tyre. Well, this round is sponsored by AirTech, a whole lot of Taranaki companies, and Sean Potros, that is the opposite. That is no brakes. That is all gas, no. Oh, there's the bumper.
So you'll see he was using the left foot to stay off from blowing out too wide. How far wide did he blow off that line? Because this is a heater run otherwise.
He's just going 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Almost lost in his own smoke on the return, out to the last two outside scoring zones. Champ vision on board for Sean Potros. Put your hands together as drives past his own bumper.
He didn't stop. He didn't care.
Unfortunately, that is the scene of the crime. It's where he's probably going to lose some points. So we'll take a look at the GT Radio replay here, and it's great to have some of the replay action. In fact, we missed it earlier because we were so behind time that we weren't able to actually use that in the broadcast because we were running some fast runs to claw back some time out of it. So there you'll see the cones annihilating the bumper, and just how wide and how far did the rear end of that car push?
Or was he
off
off
that
the track?
outside
Yeah,
zone?
was he off the track? Did he actually go off the track is going to be the question. And that may be why the replays actually come up in terms of the judges wanting to see, has he actually gone 2 wheels off, or it's a significant deduction. So again, because we've got a few different things, we do have that rule this year where 3 single wheels off is effectively a 0 as well. So if you have it's a 3 strikes rule, or obviously if you use 0 out, so to speak.
Yeah, so the 3 strikes rule is something new that all 3 judges have brought in for the new, especially with the new competition format this year. So essentially, it's probably more so evident at like what we just had at Topol Motorsport Park, but heading into Manfield on those longer tracks. If you drop one little dirt drop of the wheel, and then you drop another one, and then at the end of the run you drop a third one, that's a 0, and that is super tough on keeping these guys on that line that the judges want to see in those scoring zones. And it's challenging, right? But that's the level of the game that we're trying to search for here with the National Championship, is to try and really test and push these guys to the limit and actually expand their driving beyond what they perhaps thought that they could do.
Well, let's see what Sean learned from that run, because he came out and he had a mechanical, which he did at 100%, and that was probably 105%. My guess is that this is 110%. So here is Mr. Potros.
Well, there it is. It's a 72.3. So he got hurt by that. He's
so that's probably
hovering in the top 10. So he needs to put a clean run down now to try to get into the top 5.
Yeah, so that's probably a 20-point deduction then for going. I think
So now using use the left foot dab through the transition, coming up to the setup zone, not quite filling that out of it. He's going to get a whole lot more better points on the board, I think, here.
He definitely didn't get us wide, but on the entry, but then coming back out of the section, he's got a lot wider and got right out and filled up their zone. So it's probably a high 80s run, I think, from Sean Potros there. Probably, yeah, let's say 80. I think 87, 88ish. Yeah.
We had Te Thunder earlier, but I think that was some Taranaki Thunder there bouncing off the limiter on the last outside zone. Take a look at the GT Radio replay.
He's he is the Inglewood Idol. The Hawera Hitman. You can give him a whole lot of different names. Of course, actually, while we're talking about Taranaki, congratulations to Taranaki Car Club, etc., for bringing back Backbeach Drift too. Very cool to see Backbeach Drift coming back on the 29th of March.
If you're a Drift fan, it is a year for Drift events this year. It is fantastic to see the sport doing so well here in New Zealand. There's just events all the time now, and some great events coming back into the scene as well. So fantastic to see.
So much drifting. There's the teammate, Jordan Joyce, NZKW sponsored machine. Jordan Joyce, another driver who he does tend to go quite well on these little short tracks here.
There we go, Sean Potros back in the game. P4 with a 92.9.
Oh, it's outscored. Yeah, okay, so I had him about 88, but 92.9 is a solid effort there for Potros. Has that had deductions?
So Heinonen and Justin Patterson, 96.4. Johnny Latham in 3rd, and Sean Potros P4. Ben Jenkins rounds out your top 5.
Okay, so for those of you who are in internet land and like to be right, we were wrong around Justin Patterson. The judges did not mark him down for left foot braking. You guys are right, we were wrong. That's a 96.
They did on the first run because it was a 76.4.
All right, Jordan Joyce, Stock Street Autos. NZK. Oh, Jordan, that was a big shoot off the wall there. Jordan Joyce looking to outscore his teammate. He will have seen what Sean has just gone out and done there. He will know that Sean got too wide, got marked down there. Jordan Joyce flirting with the outside of the track as he goes through the UDC outside zone, builds it up, gets out nice and wide as we transition across now. Gets out wide again, sets himself up, and he's going to come back through the Drift Japan Tours wall ride, runs along Repco, runs along the middle part of the track, and then closes out the zone through 10 tools. Nice solid run there for Jordan Joyce. The boys will be happy there on the bank. So, Kenny, how are we looking now? Are we still looking at Justin Patterson in second? That was all fully locked in. So I just think that's cool, right? Justin Patterson sitting in Q2 at the moment. Lauri Heinonen in 1. So there is $500 in cash on the line for the top qualifier in Pro. That is courtesy of UDC Finance, who are our sponsors. 0800 623 623 for Pro qualifying. $500 for that. And of course, we do have that $2,000 voucher to present later as well to the top Pro Sport qualifier. How good do the cars look under lights? A little bit less tidy this time for Jordan Joyce. Wider through that part of the section. Joyce dancing on the gas, bagging up the rear tyres. JD Fabrication also on board with the Jordan Joyce machine, along with NZKW. Gets it out wide, keeps it wide. Kenny, transition there, doesn't quite up to the cones there. It's always weird when we switch camera views there to the drone or something or other else mid-run. But Jordan Joyce probably the most consistent in terms of just getting nice and wide to most things, so I think he'll be reasonably well rewarded by the judges there. I don't know that it's quite enough again to. I just don't know how you get into that. How are we getting into that 98, right? That first run was just punished, wasn't it?
Yeah, 72. So we're still waiting on the second score. Bumps up the order. Jordan Joyce with a 90.8, so now he's in the top 5, right behind Sean Potros.
Okay, so good solid effort there from the two good mates who operate as a team. And I think we've actually got a car on track while we're watching this replay, because I heard someone just go buzzing past me in the background there, Kenny. Maybe who would that be in the order?
I think it's Luke Fink. Oh, so it's Luke
Fink.
Luke Fink's out for his mechanical lap, so he's finally got to test the car after hitting the wall.
Okay, so that's what this is. So that's why we didn't pick that up straight away. So Luke Fink at the moment is leading the championship, so he will be the final qualifier to run. So
and it looks like he put down a solid heater there, because that, again, taking advantage of that mechanical test lap, go and send the car in the track condition and really put it to its limit. If you know that you got everything pointing in the right direction, and Luke Fink certainly taking advantage of that mechanical test lap, because the last time we saw him was later this afternoon. It's a totally different track condition now, and he was in the wall with steering dramas, so that'll be the first time he's had a taste of the track in this condition now.
Yeah, and he was very frustrated too, and I'm sure, look, he's also Luke, like a couple of our other drivers, is Australian, and look, our thoughts go out to our Australian fans, etc., or those who've got friends and family in the Queensland area, because there's a lot going on over there at the moment. I'm sure other things on the mind. As we see Jeremy
slams it up on the wall and just keeps beating it. Are we going to see a heater run here from the other JDM racing machine?
Oh, 100% we're going to. Jeremy Slammett did some interesting things last night. What did Judge Ben Kai say to him? He just about wiped out one of the light towers, didn't he? Because he just went straight out last night and found the limits, Jeremy Slammett. And he is due for a performance, because if we remember, he blew the motor up at Taupo, drove back home to Palmerston North, rebuilt it overnight, and then came back to compete. And that was a wall run, Kenny. That's a heater. That was a really good run. I reckon that's a 95 plus.
95 plus, is it better? Was he using less of the left foot than Justin if we're using that as a benchmark? Because maybe he'll slot in between Lauri Heinonen and Justin Patterson, or maybe he might just be on to pip him. Oh, that's it.
Oh, no, not yet, because we haven't. We're watching the replay and we still have deductions to go. But what it is not looking good for at the moment is the Kiwis, or the Aussies.
Jeremy Slammett, originally from New Caledonia, now based out of New Zealand.
Yeah, he's, I believe, housemates of...
And if you've watched some of his vlogging, it's, if you watch his YouTube channel, it's all in French.
Yeah, it's confusing to watch, but so I talked to the guys who recorded it, and they said, yeah, he does everything and then he makes notes, but Jeremy Slammett was just so aggressive. There were no dabs to the brakes, it was just a big old nasty wall ride. And is it locked in, Kitty?
I think we're locked in here. Jeremy Slammett, I'll just double check. Whoa! Massive dramas at the end of the run. And Jeremy Slammett backs it in. He's managed to punch it into the gear.
So Jeremy Slammett
slammed.
So Jeremy Slamet has gone to Jeremy Slamet's gone to qualifier 1 with a 99.3 and then smashed into the wall.
Jeremy Slamet, a 99.3. The 99 was from the first run. So the second run,
he just belted. He was celebrating the first run. 99.3, and then he's belted the wall.
So he's got some work to do.
The JDM boys will be celebrating and then kicking themselves at the same because he's just belted. He has belted this. Like, he's going so fast.
They have got some damage to repair tonight.
That's just bizarre.
Well, I wonder if we could see.
Great. Well done, Jeremy Slamet. What is the French word for oh shit? I don't know.
Okay, so let's just compose ourselves here. Jeremy Slamet has just gone provisional pole with a 99.3 and then set a 98.6 and stacked it into the wall. Lauri Heinonen is now P2 with a 98.3. Justin Patterson P3 with a 96.4. It is a 2JZ, a twin turbo V8, another 2J, and then a NASCAR TRD V8 in your top 4.
And now we're looking at Rody Knowles from Amalgamated Roofing, and no doubt Bex and Bradley will be tuned in. Rody's wife and son, always long-term supporters of Rody Drift. He has returned to the pro ranks some 20 years after he first competed at D1NZ, and it's great to see Rody back out there. And you got to think he'll be looking at Justin Patterson sitting there in third, and he will want to pip his teammate, because unless I'm mistaken, Justin's Rody's boss. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So yeah, Rody will be wanting to get one up on the boss man. But
Rody Knowles.
How good was Slamet?
That was a good claim.
I'm still getting over Jeremy Slamet. How good was Jeremy Slamet?
I was going to say something else, but some wild stuff happening.
What's
stuff happening as we get to the pointy end of the Pro Championship qualifying session here at Go Media Stadium. If you've just joined us on the live stream or at the track.
What's French for kick the ball? What's the French word for kick the... How do you say kick the ball in French? Seems to be a bit of a team motto for...
I think the only French thing I know is omelette du fromage from Dexter's Laboratory.
Oddly enough, the last time I learned any French words, it was from Keske. So Keske Nagashima speaks sort of elementary French and did some translation for me last time as Jeremy and Kevin Doidon from Newcastle were here. As we watch Rody again.
It's another bad first run for Rody. What can he do now? The RB25 powered Amalgamated Roofing S13. You just got to love the flames. The colour of drifting at night.
It's spectacular, isn't it? And there's nowhere in the world you'd rather be here than here tomorrow night, right? And that's why was he going to pull that up? Oh, I thought Rody was going to fire really wide then. But good effort, pulls it up. He's definitely not out quite to where his teammate is. There's plenty of limiter from that RB.
The commentary box is bouncing along with the limiter. Tell you what, if you're coming to the track tomorrow and you're watching the live stream tonight, make sure you bring some ear protection if you're bringing the little ones along, because it is loud.
It is the anti-lag, isn't it? It's the anti-lag out of those 2Js and RBs, I think, that's making all the noise, Kenny. Those filthy import boys. It's not the LSs, and it's definitely not that NASCAR motor, because that NASCAR motor is beautiful.
Some of the V8 boys are pretty loud as well. If you take a look at the GT Radio replay. Great stuff here from Rody Knowles, the Amalgamated Roofing S13. Has he done enough to get in the mix with his teammate Justin Patterson in the MTF Finance S15, which is currently sitting in third? Jeremy Slamet, P1. Lauri Heinonen, P2. Justin Patterson, P3. Next up is another one of our international drivers based out of Australia in the Drift Japan Tours S15. Ben Odgers tagging outside zone 2 off the start, and he's crossed up. He's recovered. So the car didn't quite steer down the back end of the section. So that's going to cost him, that's going to hurt him. Taillight hanging off the Drift Japan Sylvia. And that will be the remains of what happened on outside zone 2. Slamet, Heinonen, Patterson, Latham, Knowles is your top 5. Sean Potros and Jordan Joyce, 6 and 7. Ben Jenkins, Keisuke Nagashima, and Matty J rounds out your top 10. Still a few more drivers to run in the Pro Championship qualifying session. Getting down to the pointy end, of course, on the reverse seed. Ben Hodges in the 700 horsepower Nissan S15. Drift Japan Tours, of course, part of the sponsorship package for the prize winners this year. Of course, $15,000 on the line for each driver in each class for the Drift Japan Tours trip. If you want to learn more, head over to punch in Drift Japan Tours on the Google machine.
Alright, there's Benny Hodges, another who had to come over early as well, didn't he? Because of the conditions in Australia.
Yeah, quite a few of the Australian guys coming over early ahead of the cyclone. They were too scared of missing the flights to get into New Zealand. So another mistake there. Didn't quite get the setup zone right there for Ben Hodges. But points on the board nonetheless. He's currently sitting in 14th. He's got the ghost points, so they crucified him down the back end of the section there for his first run. So yeah, I thought he ran straight for quite a bit. He managed to recover it, but it was far too straight for the judges.
It's probably nice for him just to be back in his own car, right? Because he had to jump into the JDM 32 at Taupo, so obviously got the gearbox sorted out in the car. Drift Japan Tours. I think they fly out from here straight to Japan, don't they? I think that was, they talked about this. They go to their next tour, I believe, on Tuesday. So they came here for Mount Smart and then they fly to Japan for a drifting experience. Hello again to, hello to our Australian fans, and we hope that you are safe and well over there as best you can be. Our thoughts are with you. Obviously, tough situation to go through. Adam Whitehead qualified in position 2 for round number 1. Definitely a man on the up in the PureTech Plan B sponsored machine, 720 odd horsepower. Depending on what setting he's clicked on the adjustable dial. Kenny in the cabin there for the S14, very likeable man out of Hawke's Bay.
Dancing with that outer line. I think he might have just made that same mistake that Sean Potros made earlier. How much did it cost him though?
I think he's
stacking on the angle.
Yeah, he's nice and close to
driving
that
out that passenger window and the driver's side window as well.
Well, you can't fault him.
Scraping.
What, is that exhaust or is it the dash bar?
I think it's the jack point or the exhaust.
Something under that. What is the... Get in there with that drone. What is that? Is that the exhaust dragging?
Even the diff cradle perhaps? No, it's exhaust.
Exhaust dragging on the ground, yeah. All of these cars are, of course, required to be 95 decibels or below at the boundary of the venue. So that is how we decide.
No, it's within the several hundred metres of the... yeah, anyway, I'm not going to get into the politics of it.
Something or other, so don't be too loud. You get in trouble if you're too loud, basically. That's what happens. But otherwise, you're within the...
I do wonder, have we had a noise control?
Not at Mounts. Oh, no, we did way back in the day when there was that rotary guy who we talked about earlier, whose cars...
I remember one year at Pukekohe Park Raceway, everyone's had to overnight modify their mufflers in just such ridiculous setups to try quieten the cars. So that was... Mad Mike came out with this big truck stack on the back of the RX-7.
That was Kawato-san. Yeah, so it was Kawato-san from his Japan crew, and yeah, they mounted the truck muffler straight up. I've still got the photo of it at home, and it comes out sort of every year.
Classic Kiwi drifting moment.
Yeah, Kawato-san, of course, who we last saw in Australia with the they had the Pikes Peak car there that they were running Time Attack and Drifting, which was interesting.
Oh wow, Ben Hodges really got hard done by there, so he's down in 15th.
Oh,
with 2 ghost points.
Oh, that hurt. Oh, there it is. That is the most majestic beast in the field.
Adam Whitehead.
Oh, where did Adam Whitehead land?
92.6.
Nice driving. P7. Yeah, nice driving there for Adam. So what have we got? Jeremy Slamet's first, Lauri Heinonen second, Justin Patterson third, Johnny Latham in fourth at the moment, Rody Knowles, Sean Potros, Adam Whitehead, Jordan Joyce at the top 8 at the moment, then Ben Jenkins just sitting on the outside of that. So those are the guys potentially who, the top 6 I think we're going to buy straight to the 16. Everyone else is going to have to battle as we watch the boss man away. He's a long way to the inside of the track there, Rubber Ducky. This car's been used and abused by just about everyone, hasn't it? And really, it's just sort of keeps on going and does its thing.
Just goes to prove though that the R32 is still, you know, it's still competitive enough. You know, you can still put a decent driver in it and it'll go. And it's amazing to think that this particular machine is it's been through the wars. It's crazy to think that it's still just going hard.
So we just got asked the question. So why do we not talk about Mad Mike? Well, because all that happens.
We've been talking about it for the last 20 minutes.
What happens is whenever we mention him, everyone goes, "When's Mad Mike coming back?" And the answer is we don't know. Right, so having a whole chat box full of it, we don't know the answer to that. Mike is focused on his event down in the South Island at Highlands Park. It's called Mad Mike Southern Dash. It's on the 22nd of March. Jared Deander's going to be there. There's
what I'd love to see is Mikey go over and do a few more rounds at Drift Masters. I think that would be really cool to see.
We did. He did go.
Yeah,
he did go. So so he did go to Poland, and for the record, he said he went to Poland. They got 2 laps, and that was him done.
Yeah.
That was effectively it. So for anyone who complains about not enough front,
I think it didn't help that they had a massive storm coming in before the event, and the stadium setup that they had there, they actually had to wet the track to make sure that it was consistent for the whole competition, right? So, so that was a bit unfortunate. Actually, Mikey wasn't the only guys that got caught out by that, I think.
Yeah, there were a number of other international visitors because that state, I can't say it was PGE something or other. I think it's the stadium's name in Poland, and it's like a huge deal, right? It's 50,000 seats, sells out. It's like a bucket list event for everyone. We did an interview with Lauri Heinonen this morning, and Lauri said, "Oh well, even if you come to Finland, there's 32 guys who he says are as good as him, just to qualify in a local national comp over there. So let alone going to try and take on the best in Europe." And kind of in any type of setup, right? Like who do you? Yeah. We were asking Lauri who his favourite drivers were to battle as well over there, and he said it's probably not who you think it is. It's not the guys that are the big household names. There are a number of other guys who are incredibly fast, incredibly skilled, and what he actually said is the toughest guys to battle are the ones who are slightly unpredictable. So it's not the ones who do the same run every time that we come to think of as the 99.9% drivers all the time. It's actually the guys who are slightly unpredictable who are a little bit harder to battle with.
So James Manaway, currently P15. I wonder if that's actually locked in. 67.3, not the best run. Points on the board.
Okay, so I can guarantee, that's because someone just said, I can guarantee that you will not see Mad Mike's 5-rotor drift in any competition. It's not a competition drift.
I don't think it would be legal for
it's
anything,
not.
It wouldn't be legal for any comp in the world.
No, it's purely an exhibition car, so it's purely from his imagination, and it's an amazing, cool thing, but it's not a competition drift car, nor would he want to compete in it. But anyway, Kurt Blackie is back on track for RHP. Kurt Blackie destroyed a gearbox and a diff earlier, and the air cleaner came off the front of the car, so it's good to see Kurt just back out.
What was the go with that? Because I just missed the tail end of that.
Yeah.
Although perhaps we talk about cars being legal for certain comps. How about invitational?
Well, that's what
you brung.
So that's World Time Attack, right? So you and I have been to Ian Baker's baby plenty of times. World Time Attack at Sydney Motorsport Park each year. I go. That's actually where you and I got.
Some of those nights I'd rather forget.
Well, some of the nights you can't remember because that's actually where you and I got to know each other when you were a young 18-year-old Kenny with a camera who fell asleep on the bench outside my hotel room. But that's a story for another day. When you weren't a father of twins, we won't character assassinate you like that. Look at Kurt Blackie go. Wolfie's singing. Come on, Kurt. Now, Kurt is due a result. Kurt is a nice guy.
Leading it right on the outside, they're dancing. So is he going to carry it through this wide?
I think he is. I think he's there. I think he's there. He might be on. He could be. He's definitely going to threaten that top 8. I think here Wolfie's hungry. Wolfie's letting it sing. Right along that wall there for Kurt Blackie. Put your hands in for Kurt Blackie. Gets the job done as he brings it back over the straight.
V8 powered GT86. Now this is the 420. Has he got the 427 as well?
Yes, I believe it is. I think it's a chicken-built motor, isn't it? It's an EFI and turbo, or is it now an RHP house motor? I'm not. If somebody from RHP, perhaps Nikki or one of the team, could let me know, is that a?
Oh, it's the LS3 6.8.
Yeah. Is that an RHP-built motor in Kurt's car, or is it something else? Because Seaton did tell me that everything that Seaton had touched on Kurt's car was great, and everything Kurt had touched was pretty crap. He told me that. He said it with a straight face too. I believe it.
Kurt Blackie to P3 with a 96.4 as Michael Foley comes on out. A former Pro Sport champion, another guy who also probably wants to get some points on the board.
Mike Foley, another driver who he's just been there or thereabouts, right? It just hasn't quite fallen into place for him. He seems to always come up against those big names. I guarantee he's sick of seeing Banger Dan and Paddle Trees, right? Like, Banger seems to always be that obstacle in his way. And Mike looks pretty comfortable out there.
Yeah, I mean, he's on for a bit of a run here. I mean, that looks like a really clean, solid lap there from the NZ 180 SX. Doing it for the RB fans this weekend.
All right, so confirmed it is an EFI and turbo chicken-built motor. I'm not sure, are we throwing chickens under the bus again like we did at Taupo? Because there was a lot of chickens thrown under a bus
well,
at Taupo.
Well, that was only because he wasn't there.
Oh, is that what it was?
He was
okay.
busy
Wasn't there to defend himself?
Jet boats.
Oh, so if you don't go somewhere, it's all right to abuse you. Okay, all right, that's how it goes. Well, Nick Hoyle's not here, so
he was working on one of like the fastest sprint boats in the world, I think.
Shall we make fun of Nick? Because Nick's not here. Nick's, of course, our pit reporter. He'll be with us tomorrow, bringing you all the pit action as we take a look at Mike Foley again for NZ, GT Radio and Valvoline. Also sporting the I Am Hope on the roof. He will go around the first part of the section. How did Mike feel the first time? 88.3 the first time.
88.3.
Needs to be over a 90 really to feature in that top 10, doesn't it, Kenny? That's about the cut-off at the moment. Yeah, 90.2 is the cut-off for the top 10 at the moment. Definitely not as wide there on the second run, so Mike Foley won't, I don't think, better his...
Bit of a wave of
yeah, won't better his score on that run. So yeah, confirming at the moment it is Jeremy. Hey, look at this. Jeremy Slamet's score's gone up. It's 99.45 now. So Jeremy Slamet's run has actually been adjusted. It's 99.45. Lauri Heinonen 98.3. Kurt Blackie 96.4. Justin Patterson 96.4. Now the reason Kurt Blackie is ahead is because he got a 94.7 as a second highest score. Then we've got Johnny Latham 92.9, Brody Knowles 92.9, Sean Pottrell's 92.9.
Clayton Daly's back out.
Second run. So
he's back out from the second pass in the RHP limitless tyres. Mark IV Supra.
He's on a 0, isn't he?
Running the V8 under the bonnet. So he's sitting on that ghost point. He'll be looking to put on a bit of a heater run here to try and get some points and claw back inside the top 10. And he's doing a good job of it so far. You talk about the turbo guys bouncing off the limb of the V8 guys just returned the serve, I suppose.
Well, Clayton's still smiling. He'll be having a good time. He'll be enjoying it. So yeah, it would be interesting just to. No, look, we will delve into this. Look, we have a DSO system. There are replays, etc., that go on. And as Kenny and I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, we are looking at kind of a live system that kind of does move around, that does update, and so the scores are a byproduct of 3 people's inputs. So things can go up and down.
You also have DSO system and the review judge as well. So if there's anything missed, things get adjusted, and all results are provisional until the final results are locked in at the end of the qualifying session.
About 15 minutes, isn't it? So I think it's 15 minutes.
Yep, they go through and review some of the more tighter runs and make sure that they cross all the T's and dot all the I's.
Yeah, West the Pest. Mr. West, who happily told me he signed 4 body parts and 2 babies at the driver's signing before. He didn't say if he signed his own body parts or whatever, but he's always having a good time as Sam West for the RHP team, and he's one of the real characters of the pits. It's great to see him here. He did win the Social Media Ambassador Award for rounds 1 and 2 for our drivers next to Repco. Now it's time for Sam West to deliver out on the track there.
Stacking on some angle. Ooh,
I think he's washed wide, I think.
Washed a bit too wide, offline. So he's pushed wide there as well.
It's kind of got untidy, right? Like he just overshot one way, then overshot the other.
Stacking on the angle and too much angle through the setup zone. And I think he's managed to just keep that off that concrete block.
So we talked about this extensively last time, right? Sam West has got like 2 settings. There's like 120% and 150%. There's nothing else. It's just, you never quite know what's going to happen when he's out on track. It's always entertaining though. It's actually very similar to Zach, right? To Te Puki Thunder, the entertainer. You're just never quite sure what you're going to get. Is Lauri Heinonen the only non-Australian Kiwi? Well, Keisuke would be... Keisuke, I think, is dual. He's Japanese and he's Kiwi. Jeremy Slammert obviously is here. Jeremy Slammert is French, New Caledonian French. So here's a couple of other guys in here. Brody, we haven't seen Brody Maher yet, of course. He's from Tasmania. Tasmania is its own little island state, I think.
It's pretty much its own state, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't want to be part of Australia. Australia doesn't want it. Sam won't tame this down, see? He's just Sam being Sam. Somewhere Nikki Bartlett is losing her mind as Sam smashes up this car and just does Sam West things and doesn't care.
Smashing
one
the cones
cone,
as
2
well.
cones, 3 cones, 4 cones. That's just like last time. You were here,
Fully
Kenny.
filling those outside zones as he's just going too hard.
I told
he's shut it down.
Shut it down. It's just Sam West. just West being a pest. Smash it up, knock over the cones.
One of these days, though, it's going to come together for him, right? And he's going to be right up there, if not in pole position, because it's full send. Check this out, snaps right on, handbrake drag.
I'll just hit the wall.
Smashes the bumper, and then just fills this next outer zone on the left there.
Yeah, don't mind me coming through, 100 mile.
I think there was another tag. I think there was like a 3rd tag of the wall.
So what will happen? What will happen is at some point it'll hang together, and we'll get a 99.99 out of Sam West, right? If it all goes together and he doesn't smash into a wall or something or other else, it'll be a 99.9. But it's not. It's effectively a 0 at the moment. So that's 2 zeros for Sam. What that means, I think, is we have an incredibly talented, incredibly fast, very dangerous driver with 2 zeros, who's going to be at the tail end of the field battling one of the top guys. So he'll be in a chase position early on, and at the moment I'd say he's odds on going to be facing probably like a Sam West and Sean Potros. We could hit 88 miles an hour and end up back in 1955, right? Those two are wild.
So we're going to look at the second lap here, just clearing some debris off the track. But the Pertec S14 is back on the grid, so Adam Whitehead pulled out of his second run and went back to the pits to fix something. So he's now back, rejoined the session with a 92.6 on the board, and he is currently P8, so can he improve, get back into the top 5?
Yeah, so RHP do have the biggest team in the field at 5 cars, followed by a number of other 2-car teams. DSR, Team Jenkins.
And there it is too, we're at the point where the entire top 10 is all on a 90. So right. That's how tight the qualifying session has been tonight so far, and still a handful of drivers left to go. There's the Pro Championship, round 3 of the series for the 2025 series title. Who will take pole position tonight for round 3 at Go Media Stadium as Adam Whitehead heads on out for his next lap.
This is better from Adam Whitehead. Nice angle, nice close to the wall, nice and smooth. Stays on the gas, bags up the rear tyres. Just got to stay off that brake that you've picked up a number of times, Kenny. Does look like he's using it quite intensively to settle the car back down.
Yeah.
It's dabs, but there's still it's still reasonably consistent use, and you did see it slow the car a little bit and drag the nose back a little bit.
He was a bit tight through the back section, through outside zone 5, and I think that's going to hurt him, but that will be points on the board, no less, for Adam Whitehead, currently with a 92.6. I don't know if he'd improve on that.
How many cars have we got? So So we've got Sam. I'm just trying to work out how many cars we've got left and then how many have got 0 so far. So we've got Ben Odgers and Sam West both on 0s. Yeah, with 6 to go.
We haven't seen the likes of Luke Finger Dan.
All the top dogs, right? The 2 Team DSR boys.
We want to talk about top rankers.
Connor Halligan. We talked before about unpredictable drivers. You never quite know what you're going to get with Connor Halligan. This could be a 98 or it could be, who knows? Who really knows? Connor Halligan.
Of course, we've got the Australian
young driver.
So we've got the Aussie guys battling Team DSR, which are currently ranked the best team in New Zealand at the moment. Team DSR, Adam Davies and Dave Steedman are yet to run as well. So Connor Halligan now.
Is that a big handbrake there too?
Just not settled on the entry. He needs to settle into it now. Get the rest of the track right. He might be back up there. Stacks on angle through the outer zones, up the back end of the section.
Kind of wave it around.
The left foot stacking on angle through the setup zone, and he's right out wide. We're almost on the original line from earlier today. Fills that second to last outer zone, right up to
a lot further round the wall though. When
it was a way different approach, a way different way to steer around there, and I wonder how the judges viewed that, because he definitely was filling those outer zones quite well, just didn't quite get the entry right.
Yeah, I'm genuinely curious to see how the judges score that, because it was just a completely different approach line-wise, but it is also the same line that we've seen Luke Fink and Brody Marr drive. So is that closer to the line the judges originally asked for, and does it deviate too far from what they've now asked for? I don't know the answer to that, so I guess we'll find out in a minute when the score locks in for Connor Halligan, because it hasn't done anything yet, has it?
Well, the nature of where the track got adjusted with that repair work that we've done in front of outside zone 5, I mean, like that section there has actually, when I was speaking to the judges earlier today, actually sets the car up better, because it forces the guys to go wider.
Yeah. He's got to be tighter on the entry, right? That was better. So that was a lot more snapped out. It wasn't like the big long drag. And this is fast now.
It's interesting seeing the guys that are coming out doing sort of like a banker run and then coming out and just full send in the second pass.
Yeah, this is a way different run. Right, this has been snapped to angle each time. The first time it's kind of a slow rotation to that angle. And he's gone to that wider line again. So where does that set him up through here? Now,
he's thereabouts on that third to last
outside
zone.
There he is.
Tagging the wall, fills those last outer zones. Connor Halligan, is he now in with a shot at bumping up the top 3?
Is that going to be enough?
Or was there a mistake?
I'm really keen to see how this.
That was a great run from Connor Halligan. Just snap to angle on entry. A little bit of use of the handbrake, but not too much. Full throttle, powering through those outside zones. Using the left foot on transition, just a short dab, and look at this. Just powering through, you'll see the wheel work through the driver's window, and then stacks on more angle, filling that outer zone up the back section.
I think you're right.
He just really gets those, he got that setup zone that they were after right, and I feel like that's going to just give him those few extra points towards trying to set a better score here in qualifying. Jeremy Slamet still in P1 provisionally from Lauri Heinonen. Connor Halligan goes to P3 with a 98.
Bang it in, the old Coyote. But, so Connor Halligan to 3. Connor Halligan to 3, but Fangadan straight out to Fangadan style business. Now that's a different approach. Fangadan was on that wall for a lot longer, a lot deeper around the wall there. And will the judges reward him for that? Oh, but he smacked the cones.
He's blown out wide.
Wow. So Fangadan stayed out on that wall, just dragged it around for too long, I think. And then by the time it came back around, will that 0?
I think that's a 0.
Yeah.
I think it's a 0. He's just pushed way too wide on that outer line up the back section. The only left-hand drive car in the series.
So he is the only driver. Yeah, you're right. He's the only driver on the left-hand side that's completely opposite to those cones to where they are. So maybe it's just harder to. It could be just harder to see them.
He's just got to. He's got to tighten it up a little bit, because otherwise that would have been a really good high-scoring run for him. For Mustang RTR and the Castrol.
So Connor Halligan, so 99.45 is 1, 98.3 is 2, and 98 for Connor Halligan is P3, and then Kurt Blackie still in P4, 96.4 as we get deep into the field. We are in reverse qualifying order. This is effectively qualifying for tomorrow night's battles, so only single passes. Tony Bishop, how are you? G'day, Tony B, all the way from Australia. He'll be joining us tomorrow to do some commentary. He's been pretty much everywhere. It's where in the world is Tony? Or where in the world is Waldo or Wally? Is Tony B at the moment. So great to see Tony in the house from Australia. We'll have a chat with him tomorrow.
So Connor Halligan, 95, 93 and a 95 with the scores there from Judge 1, 2 and 3. I wanted to pick apart, who was I picking apart?
I don't know. I'm just fascinated by just things that go on in the periphery of our vision as we watch Whangadan get ready to go. I love the drone. I love what the footage it's bringing us. I love the different perspectives and angles. I don't envy our judges at all. I would hate to be in their position. I do. What I would stress is that the judging's the same for all 26 drivers. That's the main. I always feel like Whangadan's is going to almost over-rotate, right? But that car is just capable of carrying so much angle, and we do know that he's trying some different things setup-wise as well this weekend, Kenny. So just changing a few things up on the car.
So there you go, using some left foot now not to stay on that line. How much of it has he used? He's certainly refined his run after that first lap, scoring himself a 0. So this is a pretty good run here from the Castrol Ford Mustang RTR.
Yeah, so if you have just joined us for the tail end of qualifying, we're just watching Whangadan. We did just see his run. The first run, he knocked over all 4 cones, and effectively those 4 cones would be deemed as off course.
That was a sick entry. It was just like Connor's. Him and Connor have been my favourites so far in terms of the entry.
It seems like such a long way back now, doesn't it, to remember what Lauri did? Because he came out so early. As we see the split screen there with the Dave Steadman machine.
I think what really worked for Lauri was just how smooth and online he was. He didn't deviate. He didn't have too many corrections. He didn't use too much left foot, and he didn't tag anything. He didn't upset the car.
We did exactly what Connor Halligan did too as well. He ran the wall the whole way around to start the run, and I think that probably set him up quite nicely in the judges' eyes as we watch Dave Steadman. Dave's always a bit of a showman here at Mount Smart, with the flames popping out of the RB32, the vehicle servicing centre sponsored machine, along with Mimico.
So these are your championship contenders so far after rounds 1 and 2 at Sokol Motorsport Park. Dan Woolhouse goes into P6 with a 95.1. Flame spitting RB30, so the 3.2 strokes machine.
Sorry, what did you say? So where did Whanga lock in?
P6.
Whangadan P6. So Justin Patterson looking good at the moment. Kurt Blackie looking good. So we've only got 4 to go. So
you look at the top 10, they're all separated by those minor mistakes, right? It's the minor stuff, and that's where the separation comes.
So respectively across the 3 categories, who's had the highest score?
I mean, you got 13 guys in the 90s.
So where did Jeremy Slammett get those extra points? Was it
Jeremy Slammett scored 100 from Judge 2 angle?
Right, which is fair because of what he did. Different run here from Dave, bagging up the rears, sitting just a little bit wider on the wall there. Slightly different approach to his first run, using that left foot brake to just settle the car down, try and hold the car out on angle a little bit more. Different approach to this run from Dave, I think. Now, what was that just then? Did that almost look like it straightened up? Was it?
Yeah.
Was I fooled by the angle? Or
was it a lot more? It was almost like there's a little bit more feathering of the throttle there. Yeah. In some places, massive flames spitting out of the Mimico Hydrolink machine.
See what that did there, because it did look like it flattened out quite a lot. Maybe it's just the angle as I caught it, just picked it up there. It's definitely this is a different style run to Dave's first run, right? Like we've sort of talked about, probably as we've got to the top 8, I think we've sort of seen more of that, the initial banker run and then the second aggressive run, Kenny, I think is pretty much what we've seen out of everyone. We'll definitely see that from Fink and Mark, right? Like that's just how they roll.
Brody Maher is going to be super interesting because that thing is a rocket ship, so it's going to be super interesting to watch to see how the gearing and the diff ratio to tame this, this big 1,000 horsepower beast. But then you got the power band to deal with as well. So how's he going to?
Let's just listen to this, because this is just interesting to listen to, because it's a billet SR 2.2. We'll just wait for him to get ready and then...
SR Plenty powered S13.
Is it 2.2, 2.4?
Might even be 0.4, I don't know.
It's 1,000 horsepower.
It's not your everyday SR20.
Let's just listen to this.
Wasn't quite there on the entry. To finish. So I was talking about the power band and the ratios, right? Like, yes, this is a huge, fast rocket ship, as we saw at the first 2 rounds, but on a tight, small track like this, it's super short, it's super technical, but it requires a lot of commitment, a lot of throttle use, and getting that power band and the delivery right with the grip and everything, not quite on the entry that I thought that we might want to have seen. I haven't seen anything from him yet. I saw a few good laps in practice that I thought were really cool. But so far in qualifying,
he's having to play. He's having to adjust the car on the fly. Let's just listen to it again. Let's just let it do its thing.
Full send at the end there. Just seeing the balance of the car as it was approaching through the last outside zones, it was fantastic to watch. Great to listen to. When you think about it, we're talking about 1,000 horsepower out of a 4-cylinder.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's 45 pounds of boost he runs through this thing on the dyno. It's all put together by him and mates. It's very much a Tasmanian collaboration. They're very proud of it.
Look at that bite there as he went to the the grip is just transitioning through. So just look at look at it, three-wheeling on the last outside zones.
It's the thing with it is that it sounds so animal, but it behaves like that too. It is literally like the best way I can describe it is it's cocaine beer. Like, it feels like it's cocaine beer because it wants to just jump and attack, and it's just wild. It wants to feed all the time, but it's just unpredictable and it jumps around. So it's a fantastic car. Like, I don't think, I'm going to be 100% honest, I don't think anyone will get near Brodie Marr at Manfield, right? On that big long track, once he gets that car singing, I don't think he'll hang with Brodie Marr on that track. But here at Mount Smart, it's just so hard for him to kind of try and tame it down to get it to do what he wants to do. And I'm really interested to see how he manages it in the chase position tomorrow. So watch Adam Davies in the Hydrolink Liverco entry, 345, the 20B rotary powered machine.
So his teammate Dave Steedman in P4 with a 96.7. I haven't seen. Oh wow! No.
Oh no! What is that noise? That is 2 rotors.
That does not sound good there.
Did fluid just come out the back of that then?
For the 20B, has he dropped the rotor?
That's what I think, yeah. It went off song, and then I'm sure, I don't know what's in the back of that car, whether it's got like an ice tank, but I'm sure it looked like something came out the back too. It's unhappy. I don't speak rotor, but the chicken got cooked. Around. Yeah. So we've only got one left to go in qualifying, by the way, and that is Luke Fink. So there's only one to go, and that is Luke Fink, who is the current season points leader. But let's have a look here. What happened, Kenny? Is it was healthy and it was singing. It was a banker, I think. I think it was a safe run from Adam to start with.
The car just shut down, right, and it was something's mechanically failed, something else in the driver or something like that.
Has it hit a?
Has he blown? No, it's actually lost power.
It locked up in the rear. So what caused it? And there was that fluid there that I was talking about in the back. Yeah. But no, it's good to go. So it's obviously didn't. Yeah, maybe it was just a safety cut. Something's happened. I know they had an interesting issue at Taupo that the computer has got so many things going on that can shut the car down. But that lockup is just weird. I'd love to know what that was.
Oh,
it's done it again. It's done it again.
It's not. Are they battling a fuel cut?
It's a weird lockup, isn't it? Just the way that it's doing that. It must be really unsettling for Adam as a driver.
Someone forgot to put the baffle back in the tank.
Oh, whatever it is, I mean, look, whatever it is what is the rule? Whatever it is with DSR, it's Michael Bond's fault. I think, is that right? Do we blame Michael for everything, or do we blame Simon Lee now? I
think
know.
it's always Michael, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, so we have one to go. It is Luke Fink as we take a look at the GT Radial replay. GT Radial, the official partner tyre of D1NZ. This is now. What was this? You watch it here again. It locks up, doesn't it?
So massive moments here for
It's there.
It's just almost a repeat, just a little bit later, right? He's managed to recover it, kick it in the guts, and give it a rev trev and got it back together. But it's just cost him a lot on points, and he's going to be way down the points table for qualifying tonight. So Jeremy Slamet still provisional pole from Lauri Heinonen and Connor Halligan.
And one to go. It is Luke Fink, the current series points leader, the man who has basically made 2 out of 2 finals so far in his New Zealand season. Luke Fink, international competitor, BMX rider. He's an animal no matter what he is in control of. And Luke Fink looking to throw down here. He will want to put the JDM Racing team back at the top of the standings. Is this going to be the run to do it, Kenny? I'm not 100% sure at the moment. It definitely doesn't have the angle to slam it run. Did plenty of aggression. Nice angle there to close it out, but maybe just not quite there with those top few
tight,
runs.
like in terms of just his throttle use, it's just, he sends it, it goes, and he's just using a lot of modulation as well. So
well, Kenny's just Kenny's just getting some water there, so just choked up a little bit there. So we've got one to go. It is one pass to go. We are time certain here at Mount Smart. We're going to be done well and truly before 10:30. We've had an interesting afternoon as we see. Now, what's going on here? The boys are running over to the JDM machine. I can see an extinguisher being brought over, so they're saying fire. Now, they did have a problem earlier with power steering. So is it the power steering again, which is of concern for the JDM Racing team? So they're over there with an extinguisher, they're checking, they're looking under the car to see if there's any flames. There must be smoke. Oh, you can see the smoke now. You can see the smoke now coming out the top of the bonnet. That's exactly what it did before.
Smoke or steam?
No, it's the same. So it's exactly the same as what happened when the power steering failed when he hit the wall earlier today. So you guys weren't with us for that, but Luke did go into the wall during practice, and it was power steering related. You could smell, you know, the smell, the power steering smell that just when it's cooked. That was exactly what it smelled like, and Luke got out of the car straight away and said, look, it wasn't right. They've obviously tried to fix it, but I would say that that's going to result in them needing to go back to the pits, and he is the last car to run. So he is entitled to fix, like I think like a few other drivers would have already done tonight, but whether he'll do that or whether they'll elect to park it up, come back tomorrow, who knows.
So GT Radial replay, and there is the score, 98.4 behind his teammate Jeremy Slamet. So Luke Fink, P2. In fact, it's going to be a 1-2-3 for the JDM Racing team with Lauri Heinonen in P3.
We've never had that before. Well, we've never had a three-car team before, right? So
we've had plenty of 1-2 qualifiers, I think, over the years, and finishes, team finishes, but not necessarily three cars.
Drift Corp, right? Back in the Drift Corp back in the early days. Yeah, 1-2s all the time, but this is probably the first time, like I would call it a genuine probably team out of the same garage. Drift Corp was a team, but they were each out of separate kind of workshops or garages working together. So this is probably the first time we've kind of had that with Jeremy. No, what's happened there? Jeremy, Lauri. No, there's been an adjustment. Is that an adjustment?
As he's been.
Oh, because there's no second run yet.
No second run.
So Connor Halligan with a second run on the board at the moment is ahead of Luke Fink.
So that was short-lived.
Yeah, so Luke Fink will have to do a 94.4 or better in order to jump over Connor Halligan. So a 94.4 or better will jump over Connor Halligan.
That's the thing when it gets really tight like that, right? So every qualifying lap, every point counts, and especially when you get 14 points for qualifying first. And when you get to the end of the season, the all-important championship points, sometimes a poor qualifying result earlier in the year can cost you a championship title.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Will Brown thing of last year, right? For the supercars, where he was just on the podium every round, and it just set him up. You don't have to win everything. You just have to be there or thereabouts. As soon as you fall out of probably a 16, you're fighting a bit of an uphill battle. You basically have to win an event in order to put
Now,
you
the
back
clock's
here.
going to be running here for Luke. He has to make a decision, or the session's over.
So how long has he got? Is it
Well,
sort
because
of
he's the last driver in the session, he has till the end of the session to fix the car.
He's
so I
gonna
think
scrub.
there's
I think he's
a
just gonna
1 minute call to the line, and I think they've had enough time there to
he's going
look underneath the car, and if race control call him to the line, he's got 1 minute to get there. So there we go. This is the last pass of the night, and he's chosen to run a second pass. Luke Fink on the line.
Right, now Kenny, for those who will probably disappear straight away after this, what time are we on tomorrow with Pro Sport Battles?
So hopefully everything going to plan. We will be on live at 12:45 p.m. NZDT, and then we'll be back live again for the Pro Championship at 5 p.m. NZDT tomorrow.
Is it just me, or does it look like Luke is angry with his car? I don't think he's a happy man behind the wheel. Like that.
Angry
Yeah, this
second
is
lap
an angry. Yeah, this is an angry last run of the night. I don't care. I'm prepared to bend it. This is a win it or bin it kind of run. He knows it's was it 94.4 is going to put him into P3. He needs to go over 99.5 basically. It's shut down. It's shut down. I think the steering's gone, and he's just elected rather than sending it into the wall. And the fact he's pulled off like that means it's leaking something.
Thumbs down.
Yeah.
Thumbs up and thumbs down.
Am I on fire? This is literally Ricky Bobby. Am I on fire? Help me, baby Jesus.
GT radio replay. So the last run of the night, Luke Fink, full angry send, and he didn't quite pull it together towards the end of the run as the guys check out the car there. So provisionally at the moment, Jeremy Slammett with a 99.45, Lauri Heinonen P2 with a 98.3, and Luke Fink P3 with a 98.3. Connor Halligan, Dave Steedman round out your top 5.
Was it going to be enough? Do you think it was there? I'm not. I think it would have cemented him 3. I don't think it kind of would.
There it is.
It wouldn't. Yep.
It's the point, the ghost point.
Ghost point. Yep.
So Jeremy Slammett looks like he's taken it. His first ever pole position in the
congratulations, Jeremy
D1NZ Pro Championship.
Now, as always, the results are subject to inquiry up to 15 minutes after the conclusion of the session, and they are considered to be final. So I believe we do have an official result then on that basis for Pro Sport, Kenny. So winning the $2,000 voucher, courtesy of Bold Signage and Graphics, will be... This is Pro Sport we're looking for.
Blake Miles.
Is Blake Miles. Congratulations, Blake Miles. #1 qualifier for Pro Sport. So Blake Miles, you have won a $2,000 voucher for signage services, etc. from Bold Signage. Well done. And provisionally at the moment, Jeremy Slammett with a 99.45 wins $500 in cash.
Well, that was a wild qualifying session to round out a wild
interesting, man.
afternoon with what we had with the track falling apart, schedules being changed. Do thank everyone for tuning in on the live stream and everyone here at the track enjoying a bit of Friday night drifting. And yeah, what a wild qualifying session. I think we saw some pretty interesting stuff there with the pointy end of the Pro Championship. Lauri Heinonen, of course, coming out right at the start, right out of the gate, putting down an absolute heater run. But in the end, Jeremy Slammett has been the young gun to top the scores with a 99.45, a provisional pole position for Jeremy Slammett, and that will be his if he gets it in 15 minutes, that'll be his first in the Pro Championship for the New Caledonian Kiwi.
I reckon that's probably one of the most entertaining qualifying sessions we've ever had, Kenny. I think right from when we saw Zach come out and entertain us and just throw down some wild stuff. We saw Sam West get wild. Like we saw Kurt Blackie.
Now, pretty big full send runs.
Is it? With Kurt Blackie,
Kurt Blackie P6. So yeah, Johnny Latham ended up way back down in P10 after all of that. So I mean, what a crazy session, crazy qualifying session.
Yeah.
So we've got more crazy stuff coming tomorrow. Do check Oversteer TV live tab or the Oversteer TV website for all the broadcast information. You'll see all the links there that you need, as well as check out all our socials, check out all the behind the scenes action on the social media as well.
So let's, should we just run through that order again? So Jeremy Slammett 1, Lauri Heinonen 2, Luke Fink 3, Connor Halligan 4, Dave Steedman 5, Kurt Blackie 6, Justin Patterson 7, Daniel Woolhouse 8, Adam Whitehead 9, Johnny Latham 10, then we go Rhodey Knowles, Sean Potros, Jordan Joyce, Ben Jenkins, Brodie Marr a long way down, Michael Thorley, Kesuke Nagashima, Matty J, Alex Griffin, Braden Mayer, Troy Jenkins, Clayton Daly, James McManaway, Adam Davies, Sam West and Ben Odgers are how the field locks in, and I believe that would mean at 26 we would have the top 6 would get a bye. So the first battle I would imagine is Justin Patterson up against Benny Odgers. So so it looks like Jeremy Slammett, Lauri Heinonen, Luke Fink, Connor Halligan, Dave Steedman and Kurt Blackie into the 16 straight away tomorrow, but that is all subject to inquiry still. We thank you for joining us here on the broadcast. I'm Warren Sear. This is Kenny Ruddle. He's not my son, we just joke about that. It's getting late at night. Somebody said that in the live stream chat. I'm old. I can see you guys have been talking about someone being 100 years. That is how old my knees are. I'm 100 years old and we age every time we commentate a drift event. But Kenny, it's been an absolute blast to call with you again. My friend, technical commentator tomorrow, Nick Hoyle, back on site with us, along with Stephen McIver, our eyes and ears on the grid. So keep your eyes on the Oversteer TV page for further information, details, etc. And we'll join you tomorrow for D1NZ round 3 from Mount Smart, Go Media Stadium. Round number 3, Repco Car Night.